Free Upside app and use promo code SOUND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SOUND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the Drive, baby!
The Drive Guys, Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles. It's drive time with the Drive Guys.
So the deadline has come and gone. The Kings were not able to do much. I will say this, Alan, as we know. I mean, it's a fact. I know a lot of people said the Kings didn't do anything. That's not actually true. They did make a trade.
Yeah.
But I want to get back to, as I mentioned on the crossover, something that you posted. Did you post it last night or this morning?
This morning, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
Alan Stiles. If the Kings don't make another move, I can understand the reasoning behind why they chose that path. Parentheses, chose being the operative word here. I can also understand why fans are ticked off and don't want to hear it. So who's right? Patient fans, angry fans, which Kings fans are right now?
Both fans are right because, you know, I would never
police
very
fandom. Alan Stiles like. That's almost like, we have to wait and see.
No. I'm not saying that. But there are 2 reasons to either. It's easier, I guess, to be upset. But I understand why a lot of people are upset. You know, if you boil this thing down, and I saw Carmichael Dave had quote tweeted somebody, if you boil this thing down, the Kings added salary and lost a pick. That's what they did, right? That's what it is. Now, Dave tried to say, well, it was a bad pick, and we don't actually know what the salary is going to be next season. I guess saying that maybe DeAndre Hunter might not be, whoever might not be on the team. But right now, Dave, that is what happened, right? So fans are going to react to what happened right now, and that's just what it is. So I understand why Kings fans feel like that, and it's really just a matter of how much trust you have in Scott Perry. All the fans out there that feel good about what the Kings did and see the vision where we're going to flip DeAndre Hunter and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, they still have a level of trust in Scott Perry that maybe Kings fans, and maybe it's less about Scott Perry, the Kings fans that are reacting negatively just don't have trust in the organization.
Yeah, I don't think there's too many people feeling good about it. I know you're right. There's some that see the upside and, oh, no, this will work out. I think the most optimistic view right now is, well, it's not great, but they couldn't do more. For example, Freddie Adams here in the chat. Honestly, I think Perry did the right thing if he didn't like the value for Domas and there was legitimately no interest in DeMar.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think, I'm not going to be like Alan. I'm going to pick a side here.
Okay.
I understand why, fans are angry, but I think the fans that are saying, well, there just was no good moves worth making they could make. I think that's correct. Maybe we'll find out more as we get more details. And I think it's no fun, but I think some of the moves they didn't make are a lot better than making bad moves. And I understand fans are like, no, you just got to get rid of these guys. And typically that there's not a lot of upside to that other than in the short term you feel like, all right, we're getting something done.
Well, this is how I would look at it. And when Scott Perry initially got the job, I use the analogy of cleaning your room. Okay, Scott Perry got a new dorm room, if you will, and for some odd reason, the person before didn't clean it. Okay, so there's stuff on the floor. You got to make the bed. You got to vacuum. You got to mop. All this stuff. So Scott Perry, little by little, is doing some of those things. Now, that's what I said months ago. If we look at where we're at now with the trade deadline, Whitey, did he pick up the laundry? I mean, did he make the bed? What exactly happened to the room? Because I don't know. Maybe he was unable. Maybe he didn't have a broom or a mop. I don't know, but it doesn't feel like he started cleaning his room yet.
I think what happened was he got in there and he thought, all right, need to clean this up. So he starts, as you say, picking up some laundry, cleaning things in, realizes, there's a lot more wrong with this room.
Well, you know what? We were just talking about HGTV.
The carpet, we need
There's
new
mold.
carpeting.
There's mold.
Yes.
You got to gut the bottom.
I need to call the mold abatement people. I had no idea it was that bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. And fans are going, the room is still a mess. What have you done?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have no idea how bad it was. That's the way I think it really is going down. And I understand some fans go, Sactown Sports, the King Station, you just don't want to criticize Scott Perry. Mm-hmm. But honestly, the low-hanging fruit, I know people have been using that term a lot lately. The low-hanging fruit would be, they're wasting all our time. What are they doing? He doesn't know what he's doing. I don't think that's accurate right now.
We will see what comes out these next couple days. Brett, I got a text from Brett Siegel. We might double up on Brett. We'll see on Friday, just kind of close the loop on things. We'll find out what was available, what was maybe not available, and then we can assess. Right now, we don't know, which does protect Scott Perry and the Kings because they can say, we didn't have anything good. Ultimately, we don't know. Now, the flip side of, well, they did and they didn't make a move, the flip side of that would be, well, why? If they had 2 first-rounders, it's the same thing with Keon and Dennis Schroeder. If they were getting a first-rounder, then why did they just go get DeAndre Hunter? If they were getting a first, if they said Jakob Poeltl and 2 firsts, and Scott said no.
As far as we know, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen, right? So unless there's a situation where we feel as if the Kings did miss out and we get a report that, they could have done this and decided not to, the only thing that we have right now is from Mark Spears, which was Washington and the pick. And it was a bad pick. It was pick 30 or something like that. That's all we know.
Do we know the pick? Because you mentioned it. I'm not sure what the pick was.
That's what I saw.
Point. Okay.
That's what I saw. But also,
that's a key point.
We don't, but also there was that back and forth to where we don't necessarily know if Washington said, hey, we want to do this, we want to do this. It was just a conversation that was had. So we don't necessarily know any of that. I don't know how much we'll learn tomorrow. But yeah, it's I'm watching House Hunters again. The piping, it's like flip or flop. When they're about to tear down the house and they're praying. Not that there's mold, but there's like a piping issue, right?
Oh, and they always go, Yeah. Then they go to commercial.
Exactly.
Sometimes they come out and go, yeah, we fixed it.
Sometimes they don't.
And this time
it was a problem.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So on the outside looking in, you and I or any fan can walk into the house and say, this looks fine to me. You just spruce it up a bit, but you didn't know the inner workings and how bad it was. And honestly, Whitey, if we're keeping it 1,000, I don't know that Scott Perry knew. I don't know if he knew to that extent.
Right. And that's what I'm saying.
And that's why the Dennis Schroeder deal, if he knew it would be this hard to move these contracts, he probably just goes and gets Russ, I think. But hindsight's 20/20. But a lot of us knew that the contracts were bad. We didn't know that they were untouchable.
Well, I also think that it's important to make this distinction. You just said, hey, if it turns out there were no good deals there, that protects, I think you used the word protects, Scott Perry and the Kings. And I think when we talk about why so many fans are so angry, I think we need to separate there Scott Perry and the Kings, because Scott Perry came in, and I agree with you. I don't know that there was a lot more he could do. As you said, maybe as we find out more details, maybe we'll learn that, they should have done that. But the Kings, people are angry at the Kings for things that happened before Scott Perry even got here.
Yes.
And some of those things now they've become even more problematic than we first thought. Given the apron situation and the CBA and the NBA, bad contracts they're tougher to unload, and they're more punitive, if you will, to the team that has them than they ever have been. The Kings in recent years, before Scott Perry got here, they've been collecting and glomming on to bad contracts like Kit Kats, man.
Yeah.
We'll take that contract.
Right.
Let's give this guy that contract.
Yeah.
And now you're sitting there, no one's going to take these contracts. I wonder why.
Yeah, and you know what's so crazy if you think about it like this, and I mean this as respectfully as possible, but the bottom line, and I do hope that you can learn from the sins of your past, because if you don't understand your past, you are doomed to repeat it. And I'm saying this, and you were saying, Whitey, how we're the flagship, we're this, we're that. I truly hope that Vivek Ranadive learned from the mistake that was Zach LaVine, because the Zach LaVine contract set this team back at least an extra year, possibly two. That decision, and how much people have come out and said that really wasn't Monty McNair, and it was pushed by ownership. That decision set the Kings back at least a year to 2 years. So it is what it is now. What's done is done. He's got really cool dunks. He can make threes from time to time, but from now on, you have to learn from that and move forward, because it is what it is. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to call a spade, and that's what the reporting said, and they made that deal. It's been awful. Zach LaVine doesn't even want to be here as far as the reports are concerned, and there's nowhere for him to go because he don't want to be here, but he does like his money.
Well, that gets us back to the fundamental issue Kings fans have these days. When you were doing your afternoon show, maybe you midday show, maybe you touched on this. I know Jay and I, weeks ago, we were asking people, what do you want of the Kings? This was in the offseason, I think, wasn't it, Jay? What is it you really want? Well, what is it? And the number one answer was, we want, Jay, wasn't it? We want ownership and basketball ops separate. That was the number one answer. Yeah, so that's why a lot of people are wondering, okay, is that the case now? And even if it is, to your point, basketball ops is still potentially suffering from some of the decisions that ownership made when ownership got involved in the basketball ops.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Scott Perry is a martyr right now for stuff that happened prior to him being here, and I think he tried. I think he was on the phones. I think he was, Kevin Gates, I got 2 phones, and he was making calls, but nobody was picking up, or they were saying, do you want to give up draft capital? And Scott Perry says, well, no, I literally can't, right? I mean, draft capital for a smaller market is so important that you can't afford to do it. So we're stuck in this waiting period. Watching the game last night, it was random because you have, I see Sherry on the text line. Some people still want the Kings to be competitive, right? I don't know how you sell that. I don't know what's going to happen to the ticket prices, but I don't know how you sell a competitive game where Doug Christie comes out and says we're in lockstep as far as closing games and developing players. So, we're stuck in a really ugly spot, and you can just hope that this team continues to lose games, and that's it. That's really it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just sidebar here because I saw a comment here in the chat that I just have to address. And we appreciate all the comments. Raider Ted here. Raider Ted's our guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Raider Ted says, man, Whitey, is that a Burt Jones jersey? I didn't know you were older than me, LOL. Burt Jones. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Burt Jones?
Burt Jones. Maybe you can't see the full thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's Johnny U,
yeah,
baby.
Johnny U.
Yeah.
He couldn't see the whole thing.
Burt Jones? You think I'm going to be coming up here in a Burt Jones jersey?
And it was Jersey Day at the station. That's what's going on here.
So.
And I was looking, and I have a Michael Jordan White Sox minor league jersey. I forgot to wear that. Then I got my River Cats jersey, and then I looked up, and it was time to leave, and I forgot. Mm-hmm. That's my bad.
Oh, well. Yeah. I don't know, Jay. Raider Ted asked me if I'm wearing a Burt Jones jersey.
I don't even know who Burt Jones is. I was waiting for one of you guys to say, I figured, but Whitey, you probably more established than you knew who Burt Jones was.
He was a Colts quarterback, and he was pretty good, but he wasn't any Johnny freaking Unitas.
Allen came on like, yeah, Burt Jones, like he knew who that was.
But you don't know but that's Burt my Jones thing, though. I told you, I'm the guy. If you say, hey, have you seen that movie?
You did that on Burt Jones?
I did it on anybody. You never know what I actually know.
Like Jay did.
Because it's part of my nature. Alan, remember that scene in Breaking Bad? Oh, yeah. Burt Jones.
Like, hell no, I don't know.
You know, I want them to continue the conversation. Right? Remember Wedding Crashers when I loved it. Mm-hmm. Hilarious. Yeah. Burt Jones, great player.
Yeah. I think the Raiders actually beat Burt Jones in the playoffs once. Anyway.
I recall.
This is the Baltimore Colts.
Yeah, come on
going
now.
way, way back.
Come on now.
Yeah. I guess that had something to do with the Super Bowl, people wearing jerseys today, although not everyone wore football jerseys.
I think so. I saw some Phoenix jerseys, some Seattle jerseys in the building. I saw
Seahawks?
Dodgers. Yeah, I saw a Dodgers jersey in the building, so I tripped them on the way to the bathroom. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So where do the Kings go from here this summer? Where does all this leave them? Pretty much where they were,
right?
Which to me just tells me this is why it's discouraging. I'm not so much angry they couldn't do anything as I am just discouraged because, wow, as we said, there's the rot under the floorboards. There's more of it than we thought.
Yeah.
It's going to be more of a renovation project than we thought. So it's going to take longer. So it's going to be longer before it's all done.
Nobody wants to hear this right now, but I have said there are a certain number of moves that Scott Perry needs to make before the start of next season. If you roll in to next season with Russ, DeMar, Malik, and Sabonis, I'm sorry. I can't give you a pass for that because at that point in time, you have to do something because there would have been a draft pick at whatever number, maybe 2, right? Some people are saying they might trade in, try to get to the bottom of that. Same thing they did this past season. So to me, we understand what it is. Lose games, do what you need to do. When the next season comes around, you can't have those 4 guys. One of those guys got to be gone, preferably 2. You move on from Russ, even though I keep saying he's probably still going to be on the team. But you move on from Russ, and you find a way to move on from whoever else, right? Whether that's Sabonis, Malik, or DeRozan. You move off of those 2 guys, and I'm okay. As long as you continue to lose games now, which I think they will, as long as you continue to lose games now, because that Grizzly team had nobody on it, right? It's a bad ball.
They take Ty Jerome out. My guy, Ty Jerome, by the way.
He balled.
They take him out because like, hey, settle down. And then they bring in Cam Spencer. He's like, no
yeah,
problem.
It's bad,
Boom.
man. It's bad. But it's bad in a good way because you're continuing to lose games and move in that direction. So that's how I look at it. And I'm not trying to kick the can, but I'll tell you this much. A lot of people are saying, Alan, are you going to go, are you going to go Super Saiyan right now? I'm not going Super Saiyan right now, but I'll tell you this much. If those 4 dudes are on, and I guess you could throw Zach LaVine in there. So 5. 2 of those guys need to be gone between, who would I say? Russ, DeMar, Malik, Sabonis, LaVine. Okay, 5 guys. 2 of those dudes need to be gone by the start of next season.
To me, Russ doesn't even count.
I would count it because it shows, can you contain yourself?
Because he's kind of like a spare part.
But can you control yourself?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be Russ, but 2 of those guys need to be gone. If 2 of those,
Russ makes so little money that if he's gone, you don't really accomplish
But it's just
anything.
the point to me. It's just the principle to me. 2 of those 5 guys, if 2 of those 5 guys are not gone, I put it on everything.
Mm-hmm.
I will go Super Saiyan at that point in time. But I'm giving it the summer.
pardon me, B-Hall says it's all the trade hype and rumors, then the big letdown that is irritating.
Yep.
That I think the Kings kind of opened themselves up to that by letting all this out there, although it's possible it came through agents. I don't know. But again, Kings are one of those teams that we knew everything that they were looking at, at least we think. Whereas other teams like Memphis, Jaren Jackson, where'd that come from?
Right.
You know, but I do think to the point that, we should have seen this coming. Remember a few weeks ago, it looked like the Kings were kind of letting people know that it's possible we're not going to be able to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yeah, and also Sam Amick, where it feels like he's on the show every other day, so shout out the morning show. But Sam Amick today said that report about from Anthony Slater as far as the Kings will not be buying out DeMar DeRozan, Sam Amick said that was from the Warriors side of things, and he said he was probably due for a conversation with DeRozan's people. So for those that are, I guess, sick of seeing all the vets, there's a world where maybe DeMar's camp hasn't decided yet what they want to do, but that was just the Kings saying, hey, we know we're not going to force DeMar, say, hey, you need to agree to this buyout. This is what we want to move on from you. He's just saying they're not going to do that, but we don't know what DeMar's camp is going to do. Now, as we've said time and time again, they probably are going to want to hold on to the opportunity to get that $14 million, but you never know. If there's a team, if the Clippers come out and they say, hey, we actually are interested in DeMar, then maybe he says, all right, get me out of here, and I'm going to try to make a run in L.A.
Speaking of the Clippers, as I'm sure you know, Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis made their debuts for Cleveland against the Clippers. Both played pretty well, and it looks like Harden makes his Cleveland debut against the Kings here Saturday night.
I don't know what that's going to look like. I see a lot of memes about Donovan Mitchell and Harden fighting over the ball, so it's going to be pretty funny to watch.
It's kind of up to Harden because, he can be, when he wants to be, essentially a pure point guard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say he gets a bad rap, but I think for Harden, say what you want about him, but he's been a bit of an Iron Man, and I don't know if maybe
he doesn't try.
Well, yeah, maybe he felt not annoyed, but just thought, from a scoring perspective, all right, I don't know when Kawhi's playing, I don't know when he's not playing. I know Kawhi was pretty healthy last season at the second half of last season, but yeah, maybe we will see throwback point guard Harden throughout his time in Cleveland.
What concerns me about the upcoming lottery and the draft, and a lot of this will hinge on how they come out in the lottery, just as a lot of Kings fans, we all did it here at the station, you start dreaming about maybe they make this trade or that trade. Ooh, here we go. Maybe it's going to happen. Ooh, I hear this might happen. Oh, let down. There's a very good chance that happens with the lottery, especially if the Kings end up falling to fifth or something. There's going to be a lot of hope that they're going to get Peterson. Maybe they get Peter. Maybe they get Boozer. And you look at the odds, there's a really good chance they don't get one of those guys. Hopefully they do, but I just hate to see us as Kings fans, put all our eggs in that basket. Oh, when they get Darren Peterson, that'll be great. Even if you are one of the bottom three teams, you have 86% chance you don't get the first pick. So we got to temper our expectations, but that's really a huge part of this rebuild now is how brightly Lady Luck shines on them.
And do you feel like that is a smart approach? Obviously, they kicked the tires on Ja on some level, and Ja didn't want to be here.
That's another bullet I think they dodged.
Probably, but Ja didn't want to be here. Fine, Ja. Figure out what you got to do with your life, brother. But as far as the lottery, the way you put it, and a lot of people have said this too, man, this now puts a lot of pressure on the lottery to go get a guy because you didn't go and get a younger player. You went and got DeAndre Hunter, who you're hoping to flip after next season. What I've heard is that the 2027 draft is pretty thin. I don't know if it's supposed to be as bad as, what was that year? Wasn't that the Devin Carter year that was supposed to be
24?
Really bad? Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be as bad as 24, but it's not supposed to be great. I don't even know if the Kings are going to be as bad as they are right now. So if you get 5 or 6, or let's say you get 5, now you have 5, you maybe have the contracts that you currently have. You're not going to be done with all of them. Yeah, I don't know, man. It just feels like there's a lot riding on this lottery. And hey, if it works out for you, then okay, we rock and roll. But if it doesn't, I do wonder at that point, as we had argued, and we got 21 minutes into the show without saying hybrid rebuild, you had said...
The hybrid rebuild is dead.
But you had said that I had it backwards, actually, as far as if you get Darren Peterson, then that would help. If they get 5, they might have to pivot, or not have to, but they might say, man, we just stunk this bad and got 5. Maybe we should go see what Ja's up to or whatever it is. So, yeah, this lottery, man, and that's why this lottery party that we're doing, I don't know where it's going to be, but it's going to be something that you tell your grandkids about.
I would like to tell them, but I don't know anything about it.
Oh, trust me, I'm working on some things. I'm down in the pit. I'm down with the sales team.
All right, Scott Perry.
No, hold on. No, hold on. No, wait a minute. No. And well, I can't say anything back because, we want Scott Perry on the show. But I would say be patient and prudent. And when it comes around, what is it, April? It's going to be a good time.
The two best things the Kings did at the deadline, in my opinion, were moves they didn't make. And I get the frustration. And I'm not trying to say, no, it was great. Look, it wasn't great. But I do think it could have been worse. And I think it would have been worse if they brought in Ja Morant or Kuminga. I think they dodged 2 bullets there. I really do.
Which one do you think was would have been a worse decision?
I think Kuminga, because I think Ja, if they brought him in, I think they would have had a good idea of, all right, this is kind of a short-term fixer-upper. We spin it, send it off. And Kuminga, I think there was some in the organization, at least for a while. Maybe they listened to the show and they realized the error of their ways. But I think there was some people thinking, ooh, he could be our guy.
I think that, but I don't know. Me personally, I still think that there would have been based on the current contract, you could have given him the rest of this season and next season. And to me, that's the same conversation as Ja. And I know more about Ja than I do about Kuminga. So I would say, hey, you got a year and a half to show us what you can do. And if it ain't, if it ain't happening, then we'll send you packing and you move on your way. So I would have it flipped just because of Kuminga's contract.
I think Director of Rec has the right of it in the comments here. Even if we get the number 1 pick, we will still be bad next year, still a bottom 5 team. Maybe. I think the point is, yeah, they won't be very good. The old way of thinking, which is you have a bad year, you get the first pick, and then you're right back at them.
Yeah.
I think Scott Perry, based on what he said, I think regardless of where they end up in the lottery, regardless of who they get, they probably are going to be committed to taking another run at the lottery next year, maybe the year after that too.
It's rough. It's rough sledding.
Oh, yeah.
It's rough sledding.
No question.
It's one of those things where you almost look at it like a bank account, right? And, with taxes coming up, I'm making sure my ducks are in a row. But it's almost as if you look at your bank account sometimes and you think, I really don't feel like I was spending all that money, right? I don't remember spending all that. And now you decide, okay, I have to start saving now, where you kind of felt like you've been saving this whole time, but you got not a lot to show for it. Kings fans probably feels like we've been sinking this whole time and now we have to go into a deep stink? Like, what does that mean? We've already been doing that.
Oh, yeah.
So these last 20 years were for nothing?
The last 20 years is just like, if they'd have started this sooner, maybe you'd be in a better spot now. But you can't do that. You can't go in the pizza guy commercial and get Malik's DeLorean. And
they released a new one, and it's so funny because I did wonder, what if he gets traded, right? If they would just keep – how many commercials – per team with all these kind of local ads that are done, how many commercials are on the shelf because they're shooting it right around the time of trade deadline and their dude gets traded? Because if he gets traded, we never see that DeLorean. We never see that commercial.
I don't know. I'm guessing that with a guy like Malik, who is so beloved, that even if he got traded, you could still run with it.
You cannot run them.
He's the pizza guy. People love him.
Not if he gets traded. You can't run that.
Well, it depends how much they
paid money for that commercial, and now you just got to eat it?
I don't know.
You're not running that. You're not running that. It's like how they always.
You don't think people would go, oh, we love Malik?
No. If I'm in charge, we ain't running that. We're not running that. It's like when they always pick certain athletes before the finals or the Super Bowl, and they think that they're going to be in it. Like you'll see a bunch of Steph commercials, Mahomes commercials. Then they lose, and they're running these commercials, but these dudes at home.
Yeah.
That's not as egregious as Malik is in Cleveland, but he's still our pizza guy. Come on,
term,
Whitey.
Short term. That's like our friend Emran, True Sports Cards. He has been sweating out this deadline because he has a lot of Malik autographed jerseys. He's told us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got You got to take we'll take a marketing class, Whitey. You can't do that. You can't do that.
It's theoretical. It didn't happen. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Depending on how much they spent for that, that DeLorean, the rentals for that,
it's in the trash. It's in the Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When we come back, did the Kings ever really have a shot at Kuminga? That's next. We're the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
The Sactown Sports 1140 newsletter right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, athletics, and Republic FC with the Sactown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit SactownSports.com to join.
There are many reasons to choose Gonzalez Law Offices as a dedicated trial lawyer with an undefeated record from 2016 through 2019, and you'll know that no case is too big or too small. Due to his success, hard work, and commitment to excellence, attorney Jonathan Gonzalez has been listed in Super Lawyers Rising Stars, as well as in the top 40 under 40 list by national trial lawyers. You can find Gonzalez Law Office online at saclegaldefense.com or call him at 916-304-9187.
Card collectors know there's nothing as special as a rare one-of-one card. And now you can hear a very rare one-of-a-kind sports card show right here on Sactown Sports. Whitey Gleason here inviting you to join me and Mr. True Sports Cards himself, Emran Pilati, for the True Sports Card Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sactown Sports. It's the only sports card radio show in the nation. For all your hobby needs, get to True Sports Cards, 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland. And for hobby, insight, and fun, join us for the True Sports Card Show Saturday mornings at 10 on Sactown Sports.
Join Sactown Sports downtown before every Kings game and pick up an In Shape Fitness Kings Rally towel while supplies last. If you walk, lift, stretch, or sweat, you belong. Start the year strong and join today at InShape.com.
It is I, George Washington. Let me tell you about a President's Day sale from Big O Tires.
No, listen to me. I'm the honest one.
I got this, Abe. It's really no big deal.
I'll make the declaration. I'm on the $100 bill.
You're not even a president, Ben.
Now through February 22nd, buy 3, get 1 free of 4 select in-stock Big O branded tires with installation purchase.
Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Installation required. Disposal fees and shop fees extra where permitted. See store for pricing. Eligibility may vary. Not valid with other offers.
Country in the Park is back. May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo. Miranda Lambert, John Party, and more. Line dancing, live DJs, mechanical bulls, huge festival area, and food trucks. Tickets start at only $68. It's the perfect Valentine's gift. Surprise them with live country music and dancing. Country in the Park, May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo with Hoblit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center and Hilton Sacramento. For more info, visit CITPFest.com.
Tune in every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for the Toyota Tahoe Report with Johnny Mosley and me, Elena, bringing you the latest weather conditions up at Tahoe. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's TREX.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Valentine's Day is coming, and here at Madison Avenue Florist, we have all the favorites. Over 60 variety of roses alone. We've been on the corner of College Oak and Madison for 40 years. Voted Best of Sacramento. Come on in, we'll show you why. Order now and mention this ad and get 10% off any order over $80. Order early for the best selection and delivery options. Madison Avenue Florist, for when the moments matter. MadisonAvenueFlorist.net.
The Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles on Sactown Sports 1140.
Thought of you today, Alan. I had to go to the doctor. Everything's fine, but I go in there and, Mr. Gleason? Dr. Balagtas, of course, great spinal guy. And he said, yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that, you're good. So, Mr. Gleason, we're going to weigh you. So I get on the scale, and I don't know what I weighed. But the young lady says, how tall are you? And I said, 6.
Yeah, I can't.
And she goes, 5'6"? And I didn't know what to say because she's, I'm standing right there.
Right.
And I just decided, I'm not going to be smart or anything. I said, 6. She goes, 6, okay.
So
5,
you were standing next to her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she had seen me in, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, look, when we're at the games and I'm on the court, it's all the same to me, right? I walked past Steph and I thought I said, you learn that all your friends are lying because Steph is the tallest 6'3" I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. So at some point when I'm on the basketball court, everybody, if you see Wemby, but the rest of y'all, she's probably thinking, I don't know. Everybody's taller than me.
No, but 5'6".
Yeah. She should know better. Anything in the 5s.
She probably is just on autopilot, not even listening. Just give me the numbers and I'm going to write it down, and I don't really care.
She should know better. Anything in the 5, she'd say, that's actually decently close to me. But 6 and up, or you get to 6'3" and it's all the same to me.
Yeah. But as you can imagine, there's a few, possible responses that flashed through my mind, and I just 6.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Also, I was late because I went to the wrong office, so I really I didn't have much leverage.
She's just looking, hey, taller than me.
So are you sad now that Kuminga Watch is apparently officially, at least for now, done?
Yeah. I mean.
She sounds like you are. I didn't think you would be.
I think I'm still processing.
Okay.
I just want to spend some time and give a moment of silence to Kuminga Watch and all the content that he brought us throughout the summer.
Compio says, Whitey, 5'6", only 3 inches taller than Allen. I'm not reading that. I'm not.
You already did.
I'm not.
Whitey, I'm doing my moment of silence here.
Right, I'm
for
sorry.
Kuminga Watch. Okay, we got to be very respectful to the content king, Jonathan Kuminga, who fed the streets of Sacramento for a whole summer. We will never forget the summer of Jonathan Kuminga.
I'm trying, man.
We will never forget the claims of, it might happen this weekend. We will never forget that Jonathan Kuminga was all but in a Sacramento Kings jersey over the summer. We will never forget Keon Ellis being untouchable. We will never forget Jonathan Kuminga sitting down with Scott Perry being promised the keys to the city. Jonathan, we want to thank you for your service here in Sacramento, and I pray, my good friend, that we will see each other once again.
I have to tell you, Alan, I had a kind of a hope flickering through my heart last night because Grant Liffman. Grant Liffman works for NBC
I know exactly
now.
what you're going to say.
NBC Sports area. I think he went to Stanford, and he was in the Hawks front office for a while because he's friends, I think, with their GM. So last night, Grant Liffman, right after the trade that sent Jonathan Kuminga to the Hawks, said, it's not a foregone conclusion that the Hawks will not spin him off.
Right.
I was like, here we go.
Yeah. So you're saying there's a chance.
Here we go.
But the obvious contract there was DeAndre Hunter, and they just moved off of DeAndre Hunter. So that made me cool off a bit.
Yeah, well, I thought the Hawks, they had, going back to November, there were some of these reports that the Hawks had some interest in Domas.
Yeah, that's true.
But obviously, it didn't happen. So
right.
And they would have trying to.
They could, honestly, I mean, if you were the Hawks, you could have done. That money though.
Yeah.
It would have been. I don't know.
I didn't crunch the numbers.
Resachet or I mean, if you could have got. Don't get Whitey.
Mm-hmm.
If you could have got Resachet and Jonathan Kuminga. That's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
2 guys that can barely drink adult beverages. That's what I want. I don't want these red shirt seniors that are 24, 25-year-old rookies that are the same age as Peyton Pritchard. I'm tired of it, Whitey.
Director of Rec says Jonathan Content King Kuminga. He was a king in some way or form for a bit.
He was. He was part of the fabric of our society for 3 months. 3 months. Maybe actually more. 3 months just the off season. Then we got to the regular season, and it started up again.
I know our friend John Dickinson's coming on at 5. He had some very interesting things to report on X last night about a potential Kuminga deal involving the Kings and why it never happened. But I'm wondering now if the Kings ever really had a shot at Kuminga for all the, kerfuffle that we were all participating in. Well, Jay didn't. Jay never participated, by the way. Jay never. Jay refused to get involved, to his credit. He's like, nope.
Yeah.
You guys talking Kuminga? Good for you.
Right.
I'm not involved.
Well, look.
But I'm wondering if the Warriors ever really, if they didn't want to send him here, if it was ever really going to happen.
I think if we're looking at things and where we are now, after that initial, 2 months of it when it was really hot and it was 110 degrees in Sacramento, after those initial 2 months where Warrior fans were delusional saying, well, give us Keegan, right, and all this stuff. After those 2 initial months, I think there was no real chance because it was more of us trying to will it. If it didn't happen, and that's what a lot of people said from Jump Street, and that's why the conversation of Keon came up. If it didn't happen during that off season, it wasn't going to happen. And both teams, I honestly, Whitey, feels like both teams are kind of left holding the bag a little bit. I think the Kings, if Keon would have helped, maybe they say, man, maybe we should have just included Keon. Not to say that was the case. But from the Warriors side, yeah, you get Porzingis back, but, you could have moved on and gotten whoever you really wanted from the Kings and maybe even a pick, right? It was Malik and a pick. So I think if you're the Warriors, you moved on from Buddy anyway, because I know Malik would have been a smidge redundant, but some combination of Malik, Keon, a pick, something like that, obviously your scoring would have definitely taken a good turn, and now Jimmy goes down. So I think both teams probably regret how the summer went.
Yeah, and how the trade deadline went, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know that Scott Perry's talking to the media tomorrow. I'm sure we'll have that here on Sactown Sports live, and then I don't know, hopefully we'll be able to talk to him after that at some point. We'll see. Nothing's been arranged that I know of. But this is one of the things that's frustrating, again, for Kings fans. We've been talking a lot in recent weeks about why doesn't somebody come out and explain what the Kings are doing?
Yeah.
My feeling has been, hey, after they do something at the deadline, that's where you can explain, look, okay, here, we're on our way. This is what we're doing. And you can't do that now because they weren't able to really, other than DeAndre Hunter, they weren't able to really accomplish anything.
Yeah, and, a lot of people are going to come down the road of Sacramento media tomorrow based on how this goes. Obviously, we've been in those rooms, and it's not as simple as, a lot of people want, well, if Scott Perry says they're doing this, why don't you say why, right? That's not, right? Well, why are you doing that? That's not how it works. But I will say, I'm curious because here's the out, right? We were joking about giving people outs, okay? The easy out with DeAndre.
Oh, you were joking?
Well, yeah, I was joking. But the easy answer is, hey, DeAndre Hunter, he's exactly the type of player we want. We're building a culture. That's what we're doing. And it might be awkward because he might be sitting right next to DeAndre Hunter in that way. But I don't personally think that answer is good enough. So I am curious how much Scott Perry has prepared and how much our peers will feel like they can push. This is going to be, I think, a more interesting press conference than what we had in the summer with Schroeder and things like that, where you can just say all this stuff. Now you kind of bought yourself time. Now you're on the back end, and he's going to try to kick everything to the summer, which is the reality. But, some people might not be going for it.
I'm going to ask you if you've seen a movie, and I know you're going to say, no matter what it is, you're going to say, oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's a movie, I think it's Firestarter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know the scene I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You tell it.
Well, there's a couple.
And I could be getting my movies mixed up. I don't think I am.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Sheen's running for president, but he's really not a great guy, if you can imagine that. And there's a scene where there's like an potential assassin at one of his speeches, and he thinks he's going to get shot, and he grabs a kid and holds the kid up.
That's crazy.
And the kid doesn't get shot. I think it might be the Firestarter. Anyway, Then everyone's like, oh, man, this guy's terrible.
Right.
That's kind of why, if I'm Scott Perry, I want DeAndre Hunter sitting there next to me tomorrow.
It can only get so dicey with him because...
How can you ask me that? We're here to honor
and that's what they
celebrate DeAndre Hunter.
That's what they do. That's the protection.
Was that the scene you thought I was going to mention?
That was the one. I thought it was the one after that, but that's the one that got
that was the end
started.
of the movie, but okay.
That's right. I'm getting my movies mixed up at this point. But, yeah, they always do that. That's how they protect it. But I think there will be, I won't name names, but I know some of our peers out there, they're going to push. And, having DeAndre there is going to protect him a little bit. But the reality is, everybody kind of knows what this is. I think what affects how Scott's going to be able to go about this is you have a 28-year-old up there, and Doug just last night said we're all on, Scott Perry's going to have to answer the questions of you still have Russell Westbrook, you still have DeMar DeRozan, and Doug Christie just said we are going to lean into our youth movement, and we're all on one page on that. So how does Scott navigate that?
We've got lots more on the Kings and their disappointing deadline activity today. But when we come back, tell you why some people say the Seahawks and the Patriots should change the way we look at pro football. And also, they're showing us how the league has kind of left the 49ers in the dust. That's when we come right back. Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
It's Carmichael Dave wanting you to join Capital Casino every Wednesday for their midweek madness drawing, giving away $2,000 in total cash starting at 6 p.m. in a safe, friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
When a person is seriously injured, there's no substitute for the personal legal relationship offered by the local NorCal firm of Ashton and Price. From the first attorney meeting, every important decision is made with a direct consultation with, and I can't believe I have to say this, a real, live, experienced, flesh and blood local attorney. It's called Home Court Advantage for a reason. Ashton and Price, serious local attorneys for serious people with serious injuries with no fee until we win. For the best local advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Hurry in and save big during Honda's President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda.
With Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles on Sactown Sports 1140.
Got the Super Bowl coming up. See, I'm talking about the game so I can call it that because we're talking about the Super Bowl. It's amazing in radio. People get so nervous. Do you know what? We've got to be careful. Yeah, I know. I've done this a few times. Anyway, the Super Bowl just down the road. It's interesting to me, one of the things that sticks out about this game. Some people now, and I have to be honest with you, as I read this, as I was processing it, figuring out how can we talk about this, I thought, I'll bet you Jay is not on board with this because Jay is old school. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but there are some people that will have you believe that in today's NFL, explosive play margin, which is how many more explosive plays you can have than the opposition, that's more important than turnover margin. You know, that's always been tried and true, right?
Right.
Oh, you got to win the turnover battle.
Yes.
But people are saying, oh, you look at it now, and you've got Seattle and New England are 1 and 2 in the NFL this year in explosive play margin, which is they have more per game than they give up. And a lot of it is because defenses now, like Vic Fangio started this. We know the 49ers embrace this. You're trying to avoid giving up the big plays.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where the league, according to a lot of people, is headed now. By the way, explosive play is a run of 12 or more yards or a pass play of 16 or more yards. That's an explosive play. The problem, this shows one of the problems with the 49ers, and I know injuries have a lot to do with this. The 49er offense, the Kyle Shanahan, the zone stretch, has always been built on explosive runs.
Right.
And then play action off of that. They didn't have any this year.
Yeah.
They were not able to produce them.
I know it was really late in the season when McCaffrey had the longest run of the season. I don't know if it was 30 yards, right?
I don't think it was. I think it was like 22 or 24. Like, that's the longest run of the year.
Right. And, it's funny because that has caused for Schmal and Miles, the running back check down, that's why it's hidden. But, I think it's caused the league and some of the games to just be kind of boring. And we joked about that Steelers-Ravens game where I know you got Derrick Henry, but it's just check downs and running the football all day long. Then you get to the fourth quarter, and it felt like, okay, we're playing real football now, and they're throwing the ball all over the field because they had to, and they're running out of time.
Mm-hmm.
But, it feels like teams don't want to really get into that until they ultimately have to. And I've always felt like people lie about how entertaining every football game is, and the saying that football is like pizza because there's no such thing as bad pizza, which is a lie, by the way. But there's some bad.
Both ways or one way? There is bad pizza.
There is bad pizza.
Yeah.
In my estimation, and there's bad football.
Exactly.
But people don't want to admit it because they love football, and I get it. But there's some bad games out there, man. And some of the games that we've seen where it's just run, check down, and then in the fourth quarter they decide, all right, let's throw the ball around. It's not entertaining.
No. If you have ever watched, like, late in the year, maybe, you're on Red Zone Channel or something, and say, I don't know, two really bad teams, Arizona and the Raiders or something. No offense, but, late in the year.
Crazy.
And it's when they're not really playing for much. Yeah, it's dreadful.
It's not good.
Yeah, 3 and out, punt, 3 and out, punt. It's like,
Yeah.
man, this is not entertaining
No,
at all.
it's not.
You're right. That is a false notion. Oh, football's always exciting.
Yeah.
No, bad football is hard to watch. Just like bad basketball or baseball
Right.
or anything.
But for some reason, football
You're right.
gets protected.
Yeah.
Right? It's very American, and I get it, but you'll call out a bad baseball game. Some people don't like when it's 10-14 in baseball. They like more defense than when it's 1-0. I know Chris Watkins hates all the defensive
no-hitters.
games. He hates no-hitters, right? Basketball, that's the argument with the Celtics because the Celtics, they're going to take 83s a game. Is that entertaining when it's not happening? No,
it's not.
They're recent champions, but that's not entertaining.
I was just watching a game. It might have been the Knicks and the Nuggets. Now it's double overtime game, but there was a stretch there. Actually, I think it was Houston and OKC or something. But where you go, 3-point shot, miss, rebound, 3-point shot, miss, rebound, 3-point. It's just like, this is hard to watch.
Yeah, it's not good.
Do something interesting. But, Jay, what do you think of that notion that explosive play differential, that's really how you tell who the good teams are now in the NFL?
I think they're two in a hand. Well, I'm trying to make sure, because one thing about it is somebody will come back and call you on it. First of all, Christian McCaffrey's longest run was 41 yards. It was against the Bears when they in that shootout.
Yeah, but there was one earlier. The one I'm thinking is when he ran for 22 or something.
Right.
So that's the longest.
That was a few weeks, maybe a little bit before that.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty much the same. It's just, those are the analytic geeks who have to speak on something, and it comes to the part of turnover versus explosive plays. They're really the same.
Yeah, you and I have been watching football longer than Alan, and I've been watching it longer than you two put together. That's why I got a Johnny Unitas jersey.
Burt Jones.
But I could tell you go back to 1960, whatever. Explosive plays were important then, too.
Right.
We just didn't call them that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And, going back to the receiver conversation that I love having, when you just see those go routes and you just go, that's why the slant merchant, Puka Nacua, that's what's the problem with the league.
Yeah.
Guys like Puka Nacua.
Puka Nacua is a what? A slant merchant?
I tried
Jay, you were.
I tried to talk him off that, and he's just nope.
He's a slant merchant.
He's a slant
And like
merchant.
that's a bad thing. Like Jerry Rice
How
was
about
kind of a
this?
slant merchant.
I was just getting ready to say the greatest receiver of all time was a slant merchant,
Slant merchant,
among other
Slant,
things.
You know, but
Yeah.
that's what the league is right now. You know, when I was growing up.
Is that hate towards Puka?
No, I like
okay,
Puka.
just checking.
He got a new haircut and everything, but he's a slant merchant. When I was growing up, I'm in the backyard recess. You know what? I'm running a go route. When I was coming up, remember this Cal Berkeley, this bear.
That surprises me because you're fast, but not a
No.
burner.
I was cooking. A straight line. Tracking a baseball is different than a straight line, Whitey. Deshaun Jackson. That's what I grew up with. That's what I like to see. Let me see if you can go get something.
Well,
that's what I'm missing here.
Let me bring it back to what we're talking about. I'll try to find some common ground. The problem is the 49ers didn't have enough guys. They couldn't run the ball, and then they didn't have slant merchants or guys that get deep to throw the ball to.
They don't even got slant merchants.
It's a miracle they scored any points this year.
That's right. They got no go route dudes. They got no go guys. They got no slant merchants.
Yeah.
They got nothing.
So they don't have a turnover guy. So they on opposite sides of the ball, both of the things that you need, explosive plays and turnovers, they couldn't accomplish either.
Playmakers, Jay. That's what the
You
Niners
ain't lying.
need. Playmakers.
And the one or two they had were hurt for the most part. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, of course.
Yeah.
Kittle was hurt quite a bit here and there, and then at the same time, Tricky Ricky P was hurt for a little bit.
By the way,
a lot
Jay,
of it.
Did you watch the NFC Championship game, the Seahawks and the Rams?
Oh yeah, I did.
Did you notice Puka Nacua, the slant merchant, getting deep?
Yeah,
at least twice.
Yes.
Yeah,
they live with it. They live with it because they were prepared for the slant. They were prepared.
Oh, I bid on the slant.
They bid on the slant, which is smart, Sean McVay.
I'm just trying to get an understanding. Is that a negative connotation on Puka's career?
It is, but he tries to pretend it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
But it clearly is.
I believe that Puka can beat your man, right? Man on mano y mano. I just want to see him more often. That's it. That's not me. It's not me hating on Puka.
How many Rams games you watching these days?
They're on a decent bit.
I'm asking you how many Ram games you watching this year.
I probably caught a good 6.
Okay.
You know.
What happened to the other 11?
And he's going this way. He's diagonal this way. He's diagonal.
How many
that way.
receptions did Puka have?
How many on slants?
Well, we got to start with how many times did he catch it versus how many times did he catch it?
Be the MVP,
5 yards and in, and all these things.
He might have had some success with it.
Well, Cooper Kupp was one too. Possession merchant.
Mm-hmm.
That's every wide receiver ever.
Better be able to do that.
That's right. I'm just saying.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Paul's been hanging on. Paul, my apologies for leaving you hanging. What can we do for you?
Well, you guys are talking about the draft, and you know, if we don't get, you know, the first or second pick or whatever, because obviously everybody wants to target, Darren Peterson or AJ DeBonsa or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying that there's, you know, if you look at this draft looks pretty deep to me, and I know that everybody's sad that, you know, that Darren is gone and that we don't have a point guard or haven't had a point guard since he left or anybody that measures up to him as a two-way player. I just think there's another guy in the draft, if we did drop down to 3, 4, 5, that would fit for us and would do really well. This kid, and strangely enough, his first name is King.
Yes,
Kingston
I love him.
Fleming.
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and he is 6'4", 190, 19 years old. I mean, he's like a young De'Aaron Fox, super quick, great defensive player, averages a couple of steals per game, 16 points per game, shoots better than 50% from the floor. So I think there's other players out there, and I don't think Kings fans should, be sad about it if we don't get the first or second pick in the lottery.
Thank you, Paul. I'm with you on a number of things you said. If the Kings can finish with the worst record, they pick no worse than 5th, and there's at least 5 to 7 to 8 really good players. Mm-hmm. There's some separation there, but as far as Kingston Flemings goes, you know, he's my guy, Alan.
Yes.
I sent you highlights of him a couple weeks ago.
Yes, you did. Yeah, this is the year that, in theory, gives you some room, a little bit of wiggle room or margin for error, right? Whereas from what we've heard, 2027 is not going to give you that. But 2026, this is the year where, to that point, as long as now they're not all going to be stars, that's what I keep saying, but as long as you're in that top 7, it feels like you're going to get somebody that's going to contribute.
Yeah. The one thing I would quibble with Paul on, and I agree with just about everything he said, but he said, if you don't get the first pick, don't be disappointed. I understand that, but there is a chance that if you get the top pick, you're getting a generational talent.
Yeah.
When it was Wemby, we all agreed that this guy could be like that, and I think people are just now starting to come around to that.
Well, I think initially the thought process was all 3 were generational. And now as the college season has kind of gone on, I don't know that everybody feels the same way about Cam and AJ. I watched AJ. Was it yesterday he was on? He was hitting some threes yesterday, and, he was getting a little bit more wiggle room. It was Big 12, but obviously he wasn't facing a top 10 team. And it was nice that...
Yeah, he scored 36 points last night, right?
Yeah, who was that against?
Oklahoma State?
Yeah, Oklahoma State. So not ranked.
13 to 20, and he had 5-8 threes.
Yeah, not ranked, but...
It's a good game for him, obviously.
Yeah, he was able to do some things. So I saw that yesterday. I thought, okay, he everybody's going to remember that game against Darren Peterson, but like I kept saying, they were throwing the kitchen sink at him. He's still going to have more moments. This thing isn't over yet. It's going to continue to fluctuate.
5 turnovers. Yeah, I don't know. But he had a good game.
Well, he's hit... Look,
I'm kidding.
You work on it now so that you don't get drafted, and then we got to hear Scott Perry, hey, we're going to see how they look running the point in Summer League. We're 0 for 2 doing that. One guy is on a different team. The other guy finally is starting to play now that the guy that got moved is gone.
That's right. Veterans or no, here's why the Kings tank is still right on track when we come back to Sactown Sports.
Download the Sactown Sports app.
Sacramento sports in your pocket. This is Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If your business depends on reliable vehicles, it's time to upgrade your fleet at myelkgrovechevrolet.com. We specialize in fleet pricing, bulk discounts, and fast approvals, so your team stays on the road and on the job. From work trucks and vans to fuel-efficient sedans and SUVs, we have the inventory, service, and financing to keep your business moving. Call or visit myelkgrovechevrolet.com today and ask about exclusive fleet savings. myelkgrovechevrolet.com. Driving business forward.
At Power Business Technology, we're not another big box corporation. We're your neighbors, locally owned and operated. We know what businesses like yours need, from reliable printers to high-performance copiers. We'll help you find the right solution with personal service you just can't get online. Need setup or support? We're just down the road and always happy to help. Power Business Technology, family hometown service with big-time solutions. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729 or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hey, it's Flo here to say drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds.
Nice. With my new savings, I'll get some hiking gear. It'll be great for my outdoor era.
I don't know if it counts as an era if you just buy stuff.
I got a cute hiking backpack. It's an outdoor era.
Well, you only bought one thing. I don't think it's an era.
Well, I think we're in a agree to disagree era.
Yeah, sure, you're probably right. Anyway, with the money you could save by switching to Progressive, you can afford to switch to other things in life. It's
my savings era.
Also, everything you do is not an era.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This year's tax changes. Better not get caught snoozing. Miss one deduction, lose thousands. Not amusing.
Big tax changes can mean bigger refunds at Jackson Hewitt. And right now, get $100 just to try us.
Don't worry, tax filers. If If money is tight, get $100 from Jackson Hewitt, so you'll sleep better at night.
Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
High voltage live boxing action returns to the venue on March 7th as Uppercut Promotions presents Thunder Showdown 4, a stacked lineup featuring polished pros for a night of exhilarating boxing action you won't want to miss. Scheduled fighters include Sacramento locals Edgar Perez, Christopher Estep, and Sergio Gonzalez, as well as Bay Area fighters Dante Kirkman, Barilio Ceja Navarro, and Kyle Lakalale. Thunder Showdown 4, coming March 7 to the venue at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Tickets available at Ticketmaster. Fight card subject to change.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140. Download the app and listen to The Drive Guys.
The Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles.
On Sactown Sports 1140.
Couple of comment of the day nominees here. Raider Ted says, I'd sure as hell rather watch a slant merchant play football than a foul merchant like SGA play basketball or a three-point merchant that just shoots threes all game long. Then we have from At This Week in Basketball, Alan Stiles is a hot take merchant. Woo!
That is correct.
Woo!
I am a hot take merchant.
Woo, Batman. What do you think, Jay? Does that strike home? Does that land?
Which one?
The hot Alan Stiles is a hot take merchant.
Not sure. Haven't listened to Alan enough to know, but I'd say we're barking up the right tree.
Wow. So you're still in the evaluation period.
Yeah, I'm like Scotty P.
Yeah. Everybody's evaluating talent right
Absolutely. As we all should be, right?
Look, I'm not a hater, but I'm not a hater. I just slant a lot. That's Puka.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
But why is that a bad thing?
It's a scheme.
I got you.
It's a scheme.
So you are saying that the scheme is working, not so much the player.
You're saying anybody could do it.
Yeah.
He's not special because anybody could be a slant
I don't know if
merchant.
anybody would be as good as I think yes.
You said Cooper Kupp. You already said Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I'll just stand on business.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. Well, and then when Cooper Kupp, his expiration date, or they thought had arrived, like, we need another slant merchant.
And they just dropped one in. Now you're seeing. Now you're getting it.
Whew, they had a pretty good year. The Kings, veterans or no, I think the tank is still right on track. Last night was a shining example of that. Because let's face it, their defense is absolutely horrible. Last night you had the Grizzlies for the second night in a row. The Kings playing, not a very good team, a young team that's not trying to win, and the Kings couldn't stop them. And the Grizzlies scored 129 points. They scored 40 in the fourth quarter. Look, this is the way it is, and I know this helps you get where you want to get to. But I sit there watching this and go, how are they losing these games? Well, they can't stop anybody. I'm a big Ty Jerome guy. Last night he was going off. He had 10 of 14 shots. Yeah. 3 of 4 beyond the arc. He had 28. But then they sat him down in the fourth quarter because, like, hey, we don't want to win this game.
Exactly.
And then they bring Cam Spencer in, and he had 20 points. He had 7 to 13 because the Kings just are not capable of stopping a lot of people.
No, and that's what's so weird about the current situation. Sacramento guy, Jalen Wells, had 18. He always shoots well here. We told you to take his over prop talk, and he hit. But
you did or Schmallen did?
Schmallen did. Well, I can tell you to take it.
Okay.
I just can't
All right.
take it myself.
Thanks
Schmallen
for clarifying.
takes it. But I can tell anybody on the air to take it, and we would have been right. But it's just a weird situation for Doug, and weird probably isn't even a appropriate enough word, because you got to think that in his heart of hearts, even though he's sitting the starters and the vets at the end of these games, you got to think there's a world where he's thinking, I mean, we should win some of these games, right? I mean, it's the, I guess, competitive conundrum, if you will, for Doug. Scott Perry, the front office, they know what it is. But for Doug, this has got to be just a really, and I get it, there's 30 jobs. It's a very sought-after job. I'm not saying to feel bad for Doug Christie, but relatively speaking, it's just a weird situation.
Yeah, and that's why I think, that question we've been batting around, I think he has a tougher job. Of he and Scott Perry, I think Doug Christie has a tougher job. You know that here he is in his first full season. He's being reviewed, right? He knows that, okay, I got 2 years to show what I can do. I'd like to win games, and he basically is not supposed to.
Yeah.
So how am I supposed to show what I can do? This is really difficult. Plus, he's a competitor. I know he's not the first coach to go through this, but I can't imagine how difficult it is and how just confusing it is.
We have so much to talk about with this roster now that the trade deadline is over.
It's the same things we had to talk about before the deadline.
Well, just how this thing is going to be approached, right? DeMar DeRozan, 28 minutes. Nobody broke 30 minutes because Doug is letting everybody play.
Right.
DeMar gets 20.
See, Doug is doing it, huh? Somebody yesterday said, he won't have the guts to limit the minutes or sit down the veterans. Well, hello.
Yeah. Well, now, I mean, there's no more show. The showcasing is over, right? And DeMar, we'll see. We know the Kings don't plan on approaching him for a buyout. We'll see if he approaches them. I don't know how this is going to be received, Whitey, because I look at DeMar and I look at Russell Westbrook, and at this point, Russ, broke another record or moved up in the all-time points category yesterday. So this is what this season is turning into. DeMar and Russ padding their career stats, and then they're losing anyway, but in case they're not losing, then they don't play in the second half. They barely play in the second half, and then you let the young guys run around, and it turns into summer basketball.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a hard sell. I mean, there are people out there, Whitey, we got great jobs, and, I don't have to get my hands dirty, but there are people out there, welders, garbage men, firefighters, hard-earned money out there. Roofers
in the summer.
Plumbers, hard-earned money out there. And you're going to spend that money so you can take little Johnny or little Jenna to watch this? Cannot do it.
You know what we used to do every summer? We haven't done it in a few years. We used to give awards to the people with the toughest jobs on a hot day in Sacramento. And all the people that lay asphalt and roofers, we had to say, it's a tie. There's so many of you we recognize, but we're looking for more unique things, but bless you for what you do. 1 year, it was a ranger who had to go up in Tahoe, like under the outhouses and pull the dead animals out. That was a winner. Yeah, so.
And it's hot, too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It smells.
Exactly.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. So
once it was like a cow inseminator took top honors.
And regardless, right? Even if you got an office job, right? Somebody's annoying you with the emails. You got to deal with all this. You know what?
Yes.
And you're going to spend this money to watch that last night.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Won't do it.
Yeah. There weren't a lot of people out there last night. Let's be honest. And I know the official attendance was 15, whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What did you think of DeAndre Hunter?
He looked clumsy, but I think it looked like nerves to me. Like he dropped the ball a couple times. It looked like nerves to me, so I'm going to give him a pass. He made his first three.
Yeah.
And then after that, not a lot. What did he almost foul out? He had 4 or 5 fouls.
Yeah, 5 fouls, you're correct.
Yeah.
And you called it, by the way, on Precious. You said
Did
that
he play?
yesterday, right?
He didn't play, right?
Yeah, right. You called that.
Yeah, he's cooked.
Well done.
So I hope everybody enjoyed it. He'll get in there at some point, but
like to see him play more.
He's got enough on tape. It's time for him. I don't know.
Are we really ready to move on from him?
You might not have a choice. You're going to get Keegan back. Look, now you got a wing log jam, if you will. I don't think you have to.
Yeah, as a question, is Precious out of the rotation now?
Yeah, I don't.
Well, he was last night.
I think the problem, honestly, is everybody's favorite showman. It's Dylan Cardwell. Because if you're running Dylan Cardwell at the 4, which they have done at times, or you're just playing him alongside Maxime or Sabonis, and now you have DeAndre Hunter, and Keegan's going to come back in 2 weeks, where is Precious going to play? That's really the issue because Neek is not affecting it. But when you run Dillon at the 4 or some combination of Dillon, Maxime, and you're still playing Sabonis, there's just no reason to play Precious.
Yeah, but I do think that for anyone worried about, wow, they weren't able to move the veterans and they want to lose games and the schedule's getting easier, how are they going to be able to lose enough games to end up where they want to end up in the lottery odds? Yeah, I think they're okay because their defense is just abysmal.
Right.
It's really bad.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge reason why you have to cleanse the palate in the summer. I talked about the 5 guys, and 2 of those guys need to be gone. I felt the same way, Whitey, and you're going to joke when I bring this up, about Mike Yastrzemski. A lot of people thought that I hated on Mike Yastrzemski.
You did.
I
know
didn't.
you did.
I did not hate on Mike Yastrzemski. He was almost an MVP the 2020 year, the shortened season, and I loved him. And then it got to a point where, all right, the Giants need to move on from Mike Yastrzemski. Not because he's a bad player, but for what he represented. He represented mediocrity, right? And I wanted the Giants to move on. Those 5 guys going into the summer or going into next season with those 5 guys, those 5 vets on your team, what it represents is not good for anyone involved. Young players, Precious, the Bean Boys, Doug, you can't do it. You have to gut this thing.
Didn't it seem to you, and we'll get to the phones in just a moment. Please, if you can be patient, we appreciate it. Didn't it seem to you that Memphis, missing Jaren Jackson and no Ja, and they're shorthanded, that they played like a team. For lack of a better term, you could see their culture.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. And the Kings still, for all the talk of we're trying to build a culture, is like, it ain't there, not even close.
Which is so funny because you talk about the culture. New coach, right? Mm-hmm. No Ja, just shipped off 7 players.
Yeah,
and they still had a plan.
Yeah,
and I do think
they had a cohesiveness.
That is going to be the question mark with Doug. Vets or young guys, can you build something within these next couple months here? And the other thing I wanted to bring up, now that the trade deadline is over, 11 points, 3 of 9 from the field goal, 1 of 3. He played 22 minutes, looked aloof, looked disinterested. I don't know what they do with Zach LaVine. I don't know if Zach LaVine has a toe situation these next couple days, but the brother looked like he didn't want to be there, and I think it's a problem. He looked disinterested, which is good for the tank, but I don't see – there is no chance in hell – sorry, Mother. There is no chance in hell
she's going to be very disappointed
that he is making it through this contract. Him and Rich Paul are working on something. He looked like when my mom – and my father, spiders in there, I got to take care of the spider. I got to change a light. I got to do what I got to do. I'm a man now, But
prove to me you're a handyman. I take care of the spiders.
Yeah, I take care of the spiders. That's handy, in a safe way. I get him out of there.
Yeah.
But Zach LaVine does not want to be here, and I don't know what they're going to do, Whitey. And I know everyone's saying, he's going to opt in, whatever it is, but that's a problem. What I watched last night,
it's almost becoming like a stare-down contest.
Literally.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, 49 million reasons to stay, but Zach LaVine looked aloof. He looked disinterested.
Yeah.
And that's going to tick off fans. And honestly, I think it's going to tick off Doug.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I think it already has.
So,
yeah.
I'm telling you.
You don't do what we want you to do, we're not going to play you. Fine. You still have to pay me.
You still got to pay me. So,
yeah.
I think this thing is headed in a bad direction. I think, again, toe, back soreness, something, because Zach LaVine, I think they're plotting.
Mm-hmm.
They're plotting to do something. He is not making it through that contract.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's start with Dwayne. Let's see what Dwayne's got on his mind. Hello, Dwayne. What's up?
Hey, yo, what's up with the homies?
What's up, Dwayne?
Hey, man, I'm pretty deflated that there wasn't any more action on the trade block. I thought for sure there'd be a second trade. So Perry, he's still sus to me. He's still a little bit suspect because there wasn't a second trade. You guys don't got to worry about the tank because these guys don't play no defense and they can't hit threes. In fact, I don't think they should shoot any more threes this year. No more threes for the Kings, bro. Only the knockdown players. Put McDermott in if you want a three-point shooter in there because these guys are that fake three-point shooter, bro. because everybody shoots threes these days. Somebody needs to get at Westbrook, bro. I'm so tired of Westbrook jacking up bad shots and even worse threes.
Yeah.
Why isn't the coach saying something about that? Why isn't the coach getting at him like a coach?
You know
what I'm saying? So let me know what y'all think, man.
Yeah, I just wanted to hop in. Thanks for the call, Dwayne, as always, because I'm just, Whitey, looking at the numbers because I thought the same thing, and I'm glad Dwayne brought it up. 26 minutes. Oh, yeah, that's pretty solid for Russ. Didn't go crazy. Like we said, Doug distributed. Whitey, 3 of 10 from three-point range.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is just ridiculous. That is, what are we actually doing here? Again,
we're tanking.
We're tanking, and we're chasing stats, and I know that's been a knock on Russ that he, you know, even when he was averaging triple-doubles, Steven Adams would get out of the way so he could grab a rebound.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to take anything away from Russ, but 3 of 10 in 26 minutes, 3 of 10 from three-point range is atrocious. Like, that can't happen. I know you're tanking, but think about it like, if you're Russ, yeah, we tanking, so I'm just going to throw up shots. Again, what are we building on here?
Well, that's where it gets to be dangerous, in my opinion, is when you have, whether it's him or Zach or DeMar or any of the veterans, if what they're doing and or the way they're playing becomes detrimental to the development of the young guys.
Yeah.
Now, with the thing with Russ, we always hear is he plays hard.
He does.
And he does.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's good. The stuff with Zach, you know, if he's allowed to kind of do what he wants to do, and you're telling young players this is the way it is, and they're like, okay, that's not the way it is for him. You know,
Right.
I don't know the extent to which that's going on, but that's where it becomes a problem. Now,
Yeah.
you still have all those guys still on the team the rest of the way.
Yeah, because they will say, I mean, there's some players that'll understand, I guess, that there's a pecking order. Some players will say, well, if Zach is doing it, then I'm going to do it too, right? Why do I have to follow? Why are there rules for us but not them? You know, we're all on the same team. We all should be on the same level. So I don't know. Would it be inappropriate if Doug, I guess, not maybe full-on meetings, but if it was very clear that he was focused on the youth and how practices run, and, you know, I don't know how they do team meetings, things like that. I don't know if inappropriate is the right word, but there's nothing left to say.
I'm not sure the etiquette, but I would think at some point the front office and or the coach have to speak to some of these guys. Look, just so you know, no disrespect, but this is where we are with this right now. This is why we're doing it. That's just yeah.
And that was the weird part of it, because I think Russ, he didn't play in the fourth either, or he didn't play a lot in the fourth. I think he only took a couple shots in the second half. But yeah, early on he was putting them up. So basically, it's the first half. All of the youth, they're just gonna get the second half of every game moving forward. We're gonna play We're gonna play DeMar and Russ so they can get their numbers cooking, and then we're gonna sit them. And Sabonis, that was really weird. He was just abusing the Grizzlies, and then they pulled him. I guess they figured, what's the point?
24 and 15, yeah.
Yeah, I think he did play in the fourth, but not a lot early on. So I don't know what that was about. Again, I know what it's about, but now that the trade deadline's over, it's just weird.
You know, we've been asking these questions all year. We're probably going to be asking a lot of the same questions the rest of the way, at least this year.
Mm-hmm.
Given that, as Dwayne pointed out, they really didn't do much.
No.
It's time for, right now, Check It with TC. Sactown Sports. This is, of course, Drive Guys exclusive. You may hear TC here, you may hear him there, but you don't hear Check It anywhere but right here. What's up, TC?
Hey, man, what's up, man? Alan, Whitey, Jay. Listen, it's a frustrating day, but I'm a stop short on that, because I said from the beginning I've been at a peace of mind with the situation, because I see the vision. It got a little blurry, bro, and I'm kind of mad. And I'm mad because I was like, the number one rule is getting money off the books. And I believe that Wizard deal was the money off the books as far as Domas moving forward faster. Expiring Middleton in that first-round pick. Oh, well, wait a minute, TC. It's the end of the – well, yeah, it's the end of the draft, bro. But it's a loaded draft, what we've been saying the whole season. Isn't that the smart move, to get as many as draft picks we can in this draft? I know moving forward, but that would have been a step forward. You would have had money off the books and another draft pick, and then you have 2 second-round high draft picks. But you didn't do the deal, so we can't carve sport milk, right? It's frustrating. We got Hunter. I believe he can fit next to Keegan. Okay, so moving forward now, the number one thing for Scott Perry and BJ, these are individual They're a team, but these are individual things. Scott Perry, you're calling the other Scott. Hey, Presty, it's your boy over here, Scott again. Let's work another deal for one of those mid first round picks you got, like you did last year to get Neek. I'm pretty sure we can work a deal. That's his main focus. Dak, all that, we'll work that out. Your main focus is hollering at him. BJ, you getting on the phone with Rich Paul. Rich Paul, it's your boy, BJ here. Hey, man, your client ain't playing no more, bro. He's not getting 20 points a game. He's not doing any of that. Your main focus right now is to start working the phones now and hollering at a team saying who's going to give him the next contract moving forward. That way we can work this deal out on draft night. That's the only thing that's going to save this, other than people talking about, oh, we tanking, that's what's going on. We all know that. But that doesn't stop you from making those moves that was right there to be had, bro. And that Wizard one keeps jumping out to me, bro. And nobody can tell me different, man. That was the one. But those are the two things. Scott and BJ, work it out, bro. I still believe you, and I see the vision. It's just frustrating, bro. That's all I got.
Thank you, TC. TC says, tanking don't mean that you have to stop the deal making.
Well, the deals are done now.
Yeah.
The deals are done now.
But you have to start making moves for the summer. That groundwork starts now.
And I can already hear.
I love TC. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that he's talking about the Washington trade, right? Getting what you could get from
I believe so.
Yeah. I don't know, TC. I still don't know exactly what that pick was.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've said you thought it was not a great pick.
Right. And obviously Middleton isn't making what Domas was making. I mean, in a world, not that it matters now, but in that world, I'm just looking here at what the Wizards, they were very, very busy, but in that Wizards world, I'm looking, they're not moving. I mean, I think Bub has turned things around. I'm just looking money-wise. If they were to say, oh, it was a first, and here you go, Whitey. Here it is right here. Cam Whitmore. But Cam Whitmore, they soured on him a month into the season. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the heck happened out there, but they did not want Cam Whitmore anywhere near their basketball team.
They were out on the Cam Whitmore business
very quickly. So maybe it could have been some of these younger guys, and we would have given it a look-see, but didn't happen. Hopefully we find out more. But yeah, it's a weird situation. You're just gonna let the vets play early and get them out of there in the second half. And I saw somebody, I think it was Best Case on the YouTube, kind of arguing for Russ that he plays hard. Yeah, okay, but have a feel. Look, I always joke about the movies that you don't know whether I've watched it or not. Well, one of my favorite movies all time, Happy Gilmore. Okay, one time I was Chubbs for Halloween, and my wife was an alligator. It was very funny. We nailed the competition. We went to Thunder Valley, okay, for the Halloween competition. My buddy was Adam Sandler. My other buddy was obviously, the whole cast.
Sure.
And we got to the competition too late. They wouldn't let us in. But we would have won, Whitey. Okay, we would have won. But
whose fault is that?
It was probably mine. But
okay.
The reason I bring up Happy Gilmore is because one of the first scenes is Happy Gilmore in the batting cage just wearing baseballs off the face.
Yeah.
And his whole thing is, I'm working hard. I'm getting tougher. Well, yeah, Happy you are, but it's not really accomplishing anything, right? So, look, Russ is playing hard,
right,
but it's not accomplishing anything.
Mm-hmm.
He took 10 threes last night. You got to have a feel. You ever got that friend that can't read the room? Read the room.
I'm still processing the Happy Gilmore one. I'm not ready to move on to your friend in the room.
I'll show you the picture during the break.
Yeah. One more here. We got Sal. Yeah. Sal. We'll squeeze in Sal here in Sactown Sports. How you doing, Sal? Thanks for hanging.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for checking in today. And, TC brought up a few points, and I want to expand on that a little bit further, get a little bit deeper. We're always talking, particularly all the talking heads around Sacramento that are talking sports. What's the identity? What's the culture? What are we doing? This is the identity. This is the culture, because without the proper mindset, you cannot drive any type of identity or culture. This is what we're living right now. This is the Kings. The mindset needs to change from the top. And so what we're dealing with is we have to remember that Vivek drove up the market price on Levine. We knew what we were getting when we got Levine. We knew that he was a dunk champion guy. We knew that he doesn't play defense. We already knew he was aloof. Everybody knew that. The problem is that the mindset behind the identity and the culture that we are living right now is what brought Levine to this team. This is the culture. Until the mindset from the top changes, and that brings me to another point. Vivek, because you did that, sir, with all due respect, and drove up the market price, and then Chicago ended up signing him 8 minutes later, and then you ended up getting him a year later, a huge contract.
Yeah.
Maybe you should potentially think about buying him out. You made an error. Fix your error.
Gotcha,
Buy
Sal.
him out. You want to change the culture and identity.
Gotcha.
That's how you change it from the beginning.
Thank you.
And have a short lease on him.
Appreciate that. Yeah, appreciate the call. Zach Levine's not going to accept a buyout.
No.
Most likely. And it was not a year between.
A couple years, a couple injuries as well.
Yeah, right.
But you can't do, and maybe I'm being tough on Zach, but I'm tough on people getting mad at me about Russ. People get mad at me about Zach. Well, nobody's really getting mad at me about Zach, but there will have to be a conversation. Hey, come on. Like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's your prerogative to opt in, but we're not going to let you just hustle us for $49 million.
To me, what Sal's getting at is it's an absolutely critical question here. But I think, again, one of the lessons of the deadline is there's just more work to do than we had realized. And I think Scott Perry realized it a while ago. But yeah, we're going to bring in a new culture, and the remnants of the previous culture are still there, and you can't unload them yet. Yeah. Which just means, again, yes, Sal, you're right. The culture needs to be upgraded or flipped out, whatever. But it's not that easy. It's going to take a longer time than a lot of us were hoping it would.
Yeah. That's just what it is right now.
Yep. They're stuck. Yeah. We're stuck in the middle. We're trying to get out of that. Well, now you're still stuck there.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
Well, I'm just saying, you ever been in a situation, I know. Should we say
We'll come back to it. I can't wait. Yeah, also when we come back, the most encouraging thing about last night's Kings game, the most encouraging thing. Yeah, we'll look at the nominees when we come back to Sactown Sports.
Visit SactownSports.com and join the Sactown Sports 1140 newsletter.
If you're serious about your golf game, then you need to know about Total Game Fitting at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Whether it's the TrackMan-powered player performance studio for your best fit clubs, or the cutting-edge technology putter fitting studio, or the free Ballnamic ball fitter and 3D foot scanner, the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop offers you total game fitting from head to toe with equipment and apparel. Find your advantage at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop with the latest offering of new golf products in Northern California. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway.
You remember me from a show called And Joe? I'm back on the radio, Sacramento. It's Joe Mami, and when you need your new country fix, join me weekdays from 6A to 10 for the Pat and Cody with Joe show on New Country 105.1 KNCI or on the free KNCI app.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment.
Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Valentine's Day is coming, and here at Madison Avenue Florist, we have all the favorites. Over 60 variety of roses alone. We've been on the corner of College Oak and Madison for 40 years. Voted Best of Sacramento. Come on in, we'll show you why. Order now and mention this ad and get 10% off any order over $80. Order early for the best selection and delivery options. Madison Avenue Florist, for when the moments matter. MadisonAvenueFlorist.net.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Well, the trade deadline came and went. The Kings ended up not doing much. It's not correct to say they didn't do anything. I know we get frustrated. It's called catastrophizing, Alan.
That's
You know,
right.
you have a bad day at work, say, everything went wrong. Well, probably not everything. So the Kings didn't do anything. Well, they did a little bit, but, you know, that's semantics. They didn't get much done.
No, they did not.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear what I was going to say
I
now?
definitely do.
So it's a very curb your enthusiasm situation that happens in real life, right?
Okay.
So it reminds me of, we've used the room example with Scott Perry, where he is trying to clean up his room. Somebody else made a mess. His friend made a mess. Now he's got to clean up his room, and he's in the process of cleaning up his room. But when you said, he's still dealing with the issues that happened prior to him, you know what it reminded me of? You ever go to a restaurant or maybe you're out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go to the bathroom, okay? Now, you go to the bathroom, the person prior to you had to really go to the bathroom, and they made their stench known, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So you went to the so then they leave, you go in the bathroom, okay? And you just out is very simple. Then you open the door, somebody's waiting to get in the bathroom. And you want to tell them, I didn't make that. That's not from me. That was already there. And that's Scott Perry saying, I didn't make that. Wow. I didn't make that stench. It was already there. Or if you're parking and somebody is a jacked up parking spot.
You could just leave it at the bathroom.
You jacked up parking spot, so then you have to park crooked. But then that person leaves.
Yeah.
Somebody says, look at this idiot. You don't know how to park. Well, no, I'm only parked like that.
Wasn't my fault.
No, somebody
I'm not
else.
the idiot here.
No.
It was the last guy.
I take a picture. Look at this. No, this is how this other person was parked.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Scott Perry's dealing with.
Yeah, among other things, I suppose. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. KD joins us. Is this Kyle Draper? What's up, KD?
Hey, how are you all doing? I just want to, I'm a big Kings fan. You guys know that already. And I just want to tell the Kings faithful, calm down, because it is what it is. They couldn't dump these contracts. We know these contracts are terrible. And it's, Vivek, and it was McNair, the whole crew. This is something that they can't just get out of. So understand that this is a chess game, and it's not checkers. And his ownership has been playing checkers since he got here in 2013, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to look at it from that prism, because if you just start making erratic, emotional decisions, then we see the outcome. Right?
Yep. You make
There's
things
3 or 4 of
worse.
these
You
guys.
can make things worse very easily.
Exactly. So I think as fans, I'm frustrated too. I hear the calls come in. Why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? Well, then we would just be back to what we did before. making bonehead decisions and not thoughtful decisions. So I just wanted to say that, and I'll be happy when my Raiders get Kubiak because it's been brutal.
All right. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, I think he's right. But again, it's just not something that you can get excited about.
No. And I don't think a lot of fans, fans that are in the know, I don't think anybody out there is saying, yeah, give up picks to get rid of the contracts. I don't think anybody feels like that. I think the conversation is what is fair compensation. Really is DeMontis Sabonis. We didn't even hear anything. Malik didn't even get a shout.
Yeah.
DeMar, Malik, Zach LaVine, nobody got a shout besides Sabonis. So because of that, and I guess we could argue the Keon Ellis return, but because of that, it turned into, okay, well, do you just move Sabonis to move him? And Scott Perry said, I can't. But it's not as if all the three other names that I brought up, that they were kind of fighting with value there. There was nobody, and they already used Keon to move Schroeder. So, I guess if we were to assess it that way, Scott Perry probably felt like Keon wasn't going to help a Malik Monk contract as much as it would help a Dennis Schroeder contract.
Yeah, as I mentioned, as you know, there was some upside, some pleasant things that happened last night in the game, and we'll get to those. We may have to hold that off till next break because we're still getting calls here, but we will get to that as well here. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. I think most fans were hoping, all right, we'll get some draft picks coming in. We'll get off of some of these contracts. And some fans were hoping that. I think some fans expected that because you look at it and it's so obvious that would help.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't know the inner workings of everything. It's like, if that's what would help you, why didn't they do it? And, of course, the reality, as KD said there, you would have to made some risky, if not flat-out bad moves in order to get that. And you wouldn't have ended up in a better position.
My immediate reaction, and we don't know if this ever stayed on the table, but my immediate reaction, I know it's just one game for DeAndre Hunter, but again, it's less about him and more about the situation. Man, those 2 seconds for Keon do sound a lot better than they did at the beginning of the week. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. But it wasn't there anymore. It went away.
I hope.
I think a lot of people think the Kings could have gotten 2 firsts from Toronto if they'd been willing to take on the Pirtle contract. I don't think that was available.
It was never reported.
I would have done it, but I don't think it was there.
Yeah, it at least it wasn't reported that way. Because, the whole idea with the Wizards is I believe the Kings wanted 1 more first because that other first wasn't very good, and the Wizards said, well, we're not doing 2. So it seems like they were looking for 2 firsts from everyone.
And that's, I think, what they were asking for from Washington. To me, that was a fair price for Domas.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And I know some people, I think TC's like, no, you should have just taken what you could get. Let's see. Marquise on Sactown Sports. How are you, Marquise?
Yeah, hey, how you guys doing?
Good. What can we do for you?
Yeah, so I just want to touch on the upcoming draft because, let's be honest, that's the only thing that kind of matters at this point. Trade deadline was a bust once again. But I see a lot of people are saying it's pretty much like a foregone conclusion that Peterson is the number 1 pick, no doubt. But I still have questions about that because I feel like injury concerns and character concerns should never be swept under the rug. I don't care how generational you are. Look at Zion. That was a can't miss. Injuries, that's a disaster. Look at Ja, generational. Look at the character. It was a disaster. And just quickly to pivot, I've seen what the opposing coach yesterday of Oklahoma State University said about Debanza after the game. He had very glowing comments about his character. He mentioned that after the game, one of his teammates walked past the coach and didn't shake his hand, and Debanza grabbed his teammate, brought him back, and made him shake the coach's hand. So I just think that's very admirable. I think that stuff all matters when you're drafting. I get it. He looks exciting. He jacks up a ton of threes. It's fun for Peterson, but I think character and injury, that stuff, it matters a lot.
I think you're right, Marquise. We'll get back to that in a second. First, Jay, we need the breaking news sounder, if you would, sir. We just have a little bit of, it doesn't involve a trade, but it's a break.
When it breaks,
we have it first.
It's Sactown Sports Breaking News.
The Sacramento Kings are signing rookie center Dylan Cardwell to a 4-year deal. Agent Corey Markham tells ESPN the deal includes 2 fully guaranteed years. Cardwell has averaged 4.7 points, 7.1 rebounds, and 1.7 blocks in 20 minutes this season. 4-year deal.
Nice. So if I'm Scott Perry, I got DeAndre Hunter on one side tomorrow.
Yeah.
Dylan Cardwell on the other side.
Dylan, I want you to smile bigger than you ever smiled before, brother. We gonna need you now. Look what we did. Look, Maxime, just get up here. All the Bean Boys.
Yeah.
Just come up here.
It's a nice story. It's a great story, and I know you love your stories, Alan.
They're growing on me. They're certainly growing on me.
As far as what Marquise had to say about the draft, he made some great points. I agree. It's not a foregone conclusion that Peterson will be number 1. I think he will be, but we still got a lot of pizza left in the box. DeBonsa did play very well last night. The thing about Peterson, and I know Marquise is not the first caller to mention some potential character issues with Darren Peterson, I'm not sure there are character issues. I think if this is a guy that, as long as his coaching staff and teammates are aware, look, guys, I'm trying to get the number 1 pick. I'm trying to be the number 1 pick. I don't think that's necessarily a reflection of selfishness. I don't know. He's not a bad teammate that I know of. I know it may look that way sometimes. I think we'll know more depending on how he responds to what his team needs from him in the tournament.
Yeah, Whitey, and you love these. It's like a relationship, right? If everyone is on the same page, it's okay. Hey, this is just a casual thing. If you tell that to the person, it's okay.
Yeah.
As long as Darren Peterson, the AD, the head coach, the teammates, if they're all on the same page, it's okay. We haven't heard anything otherwise, and obviously Kansas wants to be able to claim another top pick, so they're not going to say anything negative.
The injury issue is it's definitely something you want to keep an eye on.
It's the same conversation that we have when players sit out meaningless bowl games, right? Not exactly the same.
No, it is.
But
football's different, but Christian McCaffrey comes to mind when he was at Stanford.
Some people don't like that. Some people don't like that. Some people don't mind. As long as I would rather it be that than actual injury. Because I don't think, as long as, like I said, everybody is clearly on the same page, and I know he's obviously making some type of NIL, so as long as Kansas feels like they're getting ROI on their NIL, return on investment, then it's okay.
I do disagree with the characterization that Peterson is just jacking up threes.
He's a scorer. I mean, when the highlights are, we got to fire up a highlight of his assists and doing other things, and even defense, because, that was my takeaway from Darren Peterson early. I said, it looks like Bradley Beal to me, right? He's just taking a bunch of shots, but you see what he does on the defensive end, and he can distribute the basketball a little bit. He's definitely more than that.
Yeah, we'll come back with the nominees for most encouraging thing about last night, and we'll get back to the phones as well. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Chris Watkins joining us top of the hour, too, as we roll on. Drive, guys. Sactown Sports.
Listen to the number 1 sports lineup in Sacramento.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Matt George, and Kayla Anderson. The Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles.
Every weekday live and local 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Online at SactownSports.com or download the app right on your phone. Your number 1 source for all your Northern California sports. Sactown Sports 1140.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
At InShape, we have a place for every kind of mover. The Sometimer, the early riser, the after-work grinder, the yogi, lifter, bodybuilder, walker, runner, swimmer, spinner, stretcher, rower, climber, jumper, dancer, boxer, sauna seeker, recoverer. Basically, if you walk, lift, stretch, or sweat, you belong at InShape. So whether it's your first time or your first time in a while, start the year strong and join today at InShape.com. Find a location nearest to you.
Heyo, Johnny Mosley here, coming at you with Thursday's Toyota Tahoe report. The Toyota is fired up and ready to roll. Let's tap the experts to see what Palisades has in store for us today.
Thanks, Johnny. Expect mostly sunny skies with a high near 46 degrees and light winds out of the northwest. Evening will dip down to 23 degrees. Dry conditions continue through Friday. This report is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
How far do you hit your 7-iron? The answers will tell you which tees to play, according to Josh Sens in Golf Magazine. Deep down, you know you shouldn't be playing from the tips, but it's common for golfers to play from too far back. Aside from higher scores, rounds become a grind and golf becomes much less fun. After several years of research, the USGA unveiled a new data-driven offering to find the proper tees called Best Tees. If you know how far you hit your 7-iron, Best Tees will tell you which tee boxes to play. A typical male golfer should be playing from 6,100 yards and a typical female golfer from 4,400 yards. Most players have a good idea of their 7-iron distance, with average male's distance of 138 yards and average female's of 100 yards. Throw out the occasional perfect shot, which travels more than those distances, and concentrate on your average. This will allow you to reach the vicinity of most greens in regulation and let you hit a variety of clubs on approach shots. Leave your ego at home and give it a chance. You'll have more fun. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Today's breaking news didn't have any Kings trade breaking news, but Dylan Cardwell's got his deal. 4-year deal, Alan?
4-year deal.
What a story. I know you love your stories.
What a story. What a guy.
Story of the season, maybe.
Easy. The deal includes 2 fully guaranteed years. So I guess that would start next year, the 4 years. So next year, the year after.
Is that right, Jay?
Guaranteed.
Starts next year? Yeah.
And then after that, yeah, we'll deal with that when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
But good for Dylan. Worked his butt off. War Eagle. What a guy, having a lot of fun and brings joy to the fans that have decided to use their hard-earned money to watch their Sacramento Kings at this point.
And you've been on him since, well, not day one, day 27. I don't know. You weren't on him from the jump. But
I think it was what it turned into for me is it just turned into. I was looking at it in a very cynical way.
You thought people were overreacting to all the
and you know what?
Gesticulations.
People will tell me things, whether it's, my family or friends, and sometimes we were bringing up Curb Your Enthusiasm earlier. Sometimes people say, Alan, just let people enjoy things, and that's where I'm at now.
Good.
It's especially after the trade deadline. I think also I'm anxious for the trade deadline, but now you got to watch Russ take 10 threes in 26 minutes. If Dylan wants to, do a backflip when he blocks a shot, go ahead, Dylan.
Mm-hmm. What was the bright spot of the night last night? The nominees, Alan. Maxime Reynaud in 20 minutes. He scored 6 points. He had 5 rebounds, 4 defensive rebounds, 3 of 5 from the floor. Nominee number 2, we have Devin Carter. 24 minutes, 5 for 12. Missed all of his threes. Had 10 points and 5 assists and 6 rebounds. I don't know if you noticed, but as the game ended and he came off the floor, Doug Christie gave him a hearty handshake and congratulations. And our third and final nominee for Bright Spot of the Night, Nate Clifford in 25 minutes, 49 seconds, 5 of 9, 2 of 3 beyond the arc, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, and 14 points, plus 9, by the way, for what that's worth. So who is it? Who gets the most encouraging player of the night last night?
Easiest decision I've made. It is Devin Carter. The 0 for 6 from three-point range ain't great.
Devin Carter over Nate Clifford?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. They both had 5 assists, but watching Devin, we were talking about how he's more of a straight-line guy when it comes to playmaking. He was playmaking last night. They both had 5 assists, but Whitey, Devin had a steal, and he only had 1 turnover. Nate Clifford had 4 turnovers, and they were important. Some of those turnovers were bad at the end of the game. So I'm going to give it to Devin Carter. You ain't got to get ready if you stay ready. That's what a coach once told me, and Devin Carter has stayed ready. I pray to the same basketball god about the Kuminga watch and the end of that. I pray that Devin finds his jump shot. That we got it. We got to get there.
That's it.
We got to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Get with who's that dude who's always popping on social media? Lethal Shooter.
Kyle Ledbetter.
Get with Kyle Ledbetter. Get with Lethal Shooter. We got to get the 3 right, or it's just not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But he found ways to score last night. Felt kind of summer leaguey in the way he was scoring, but that's why he got those Josh Hart comps, because he's just kind of scrappy, right? He's like a Josh Hart, scrappy around the basket, nowhere near this type of athlete, but Amen Thompson, and how he can just find ways to get buckets, even though he can't shoot. But if you can, we need, just go to the corner. We need the corner. We need something, Dev. We need something.
Yeah, I've been in Devin Carter's corner for a while. We talked to him on Media Day. I'm glad he played last night. I hope he plays more. I think that he has a chance to be kind of a guy who does a lot of good things for you, but he's got to make jump shots. I'm a Devin Carter fan, but that jump shot is uglier than a bus crash. It just is. I mean, and if it goes in, that's fine. And he had a shoulder injury, which I'm sure didn't help.
Yeah.
We've seen him in summer league shoot it at times pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I think he struggled this year, even in the G League showcase where he had some high point totals. He still didn't shoot the ball that well.
Right.
That's the key for him.
And again, the same comp that I've brought up. I know this player is bigger, but I've used the same comp for Neek Clifford as well. Josh Hart. Josh Hart is a guy who offensively he'll find. Now, I think Devin has the ability to rebound similar to Josh Hart. But again, Whitey, I say that Josh Hart, I don't know how many threes he's taken a game, but Josh Hart's at 40.5% this season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so early on in his career, look, if you go back, for his career, he's 34.7, and he had some notes where, he was shooting 32 and 34 and 32 and 30. He's taking 3.9 threes a game. Nearly 4 threes a game, shooting 40%. Last season, though, he only shot 33%. The season before, he only shot 31%. So he's fluctuated there, but you got to at least be at 34, 35 if you're Devin, because Josh Hart is a little bit bigger. If you're going to be a pure guard, Dev, you got to be able to shoot the rock.
And when he plays the way we know he's capable of playing, he does reflect a lot of the way Doug Christie and Scott Perry say they want their team to play.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does. But
So
it don't mean a thing if you can't put the biscuit in the basket.
He gets the award, most encouraging player of the night.
To me.
Because it's your thing.
Yeah, I do.
You get the deciding vote.
I do think that last night was obviously it was a bad shooting night, but I don't think he's that bad of a shooter. We've seen him knock it down a couple times. I just think, honestly, it might be a little yips going on ever since the shoulder situation. Whitey, once it becomes a thing, now you're thinking about it, whether you're open or not.
And I've mentioned this to you before, and I think you said you actually saw this movie, but maybe you were lying. The Skeleton Key.
Well, I actually did watch The Skeleton Key. Outstanding story.
Because none of it's real unless you believe in it.
Yes, and once it becomes a thing, it's really hard to break away from it. You start working with people and, trying to figure it out. So hopefully he can do it.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Sarah's been hanging on. Hey, Sarah, you're on the Drive, guys. What's up?
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. All right. You made my point. I'm a season ticket holder. I sat around all my friends' season ticket holders last night. And I want to say something. We didn't pay good money to buy these tickets to watch a summer league team. We had none of our best players out there at the end of the game last night. It was sad. And we're all looking at each other wondering if we're going to buy season tickets next year, if this is how it's going to go. We kind of feel duped. Well, this isn't a place that Carter's supposed to be practicing and all that. Sabonis was out there making the baskets. They never played the Sabonis chant. Monk was making his scores. Westbrook was taken out at the end. And we're like pissed, I'll be honest with you. Most of us are diehard King fans. And it's like, what was that? That was a joke. I brought people who I'm trying to convince to be King fans. And they just looked at me and said, what was that? So you love Devin Carter, you like these guys, but not to us. People are paying good money for tickets. I mean, that's not what we're there to see.
Well,
we're there to see the professionals.
Yes.
The people who know how to play.
Yeah, but you can understand why they have to try to get younger, Sarah, in order to get better. They're kind of stuck with some older players. Would you give us that?
Well, I'll give you that. I get it, but not on the backs of those of us who are fans of those players I just mentioned. Mm-hmm. It was, I'm gonna, we're a bunch of us are calling, letting the GM know we are not going to be renewing our tickets. You've got to change it the rest of the season, or there are going to be more empty seats. And there's a whole wave. Yeah. There's a wave starting about this. We're all talking amongst ourselves online, saying, let's not go. Let's show them we're feeling like we're being duped.
I understand what you're saying, sir. I have been a season ticket holder myself. I know of what you speak. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
we appreciate it.
That's what I'm talking about. Sarah, call of the day. Hybrid rebuild.
No.
Hybrid rebuild.
Please, no.
Do it for your brother. Do it for your sister. Do it for Sarah. Do it for the season ticket holders. Whitey, they do have a problem, though. I mean, the reality is you're not going to be able to make everybody happy, and you're going to lose people like Sarah.
I know.
And you hope.
You saw the
15,000.
I don't know why they keep going to those shots when they come back from commercial.
They need to go narrow.
I know there's not a lot of people
there. They need to go narrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look. That's how a lot of fans feel. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Of course. I know that, Al.
And I'm trying to tell you.
I recognize that.
I'm trying to tell you. And now somebody's saying, Alan, we've been trying to hybrid rebuild for 20 years. Not with Darren Peterson. Save it for Sarah. Save it for the online community.
We're going to call the GM. I almost said, well, tell him we said hi. But I better not say
Tell him.
Better not say
I mean,
that.
a lot of people feel like that, Whitey.
I know that, Alan.
I'm just telling you.
I already
know man, that got me juiced up. And now Chris Watkins going to come in.
Chris Watkins will
can't
join
wait.
us. 339-1140. 1-800-920-1140. It's the Drive Guys on a day of anger. Rolling on Sactown Sports. Don't go away.
The San Francisco 49ers play on Sactown Sports 1140.
Touchdown 49ers! Every game on your #1 sports station. Don't miss the action on your local sports leader. Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it, with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551.
Hurry in and save big during Honda's President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Card collectors know there's nothing as special as a rare one-of-one card. And now you can hear a very rare one-of-a-kind sports card show right here on Sactown Sports. Whitey Gleason here inviting you to join me and Mr. True Sports Cards himself, Imran Pilati, for the True Sports Card Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sactown Sports. It's the only sports card radio show in the nation. For all your hobby needs, get to True Sports Cards, 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland. And for hobby, insight, and fun, join us for the True Sports Card Show Saturday mornings at 10 on Sactown Sports.
Hagen Oaks knows you can buy a driver off the shelf anywhere, but Hagen Oaks is the only place where you'll find total game fitting. The Hagen Oaks TrackMan-powered player performance studio fits clubs to your swing. Ping's Ballnamic Ball Fitter finds your optimum golf ball. The putter fitting studio makes you a better putter, and FootJoy's 3D foot scanner finds your correct fit. In fact, Hagen Oaks will fit you from head to toe with equipment and apparel to make you the player you want to be. It's total game fitting, and it's only at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/SactownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
We, of course, have been talking a lot today about how the Kings weren't able to get much done at the trade deadline. Then we started talking about the game last night and how there were some bright spots that shone through. Then Sarah called. Sarah pulled the pin on the grenade and said, we're season ticket holders and we've had it. So who comes in as a true friend and is, I think, trying to throw himself on the grenade, Alan? But Chris Watkins.
Always Chris Watkins.
Hey, Chris.
You want me to handle all that?
No, I just appreciate you coming in.
Yeah,
you saw what the phones.
Absolutely.
We'll get to the phones.
I know.
Just,
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's like, yes.
Just wanted to make sure you still wanted to have me on. I was like, you can clearly do, like you said, a completely different show if you want at this point. But yeah, it's
of course we
here.
We arranged to have you. You're
beck
very
and
busy.
Call.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Were you just hanging out with Tom Brady?
I was. Yes, me and Thomas were. Just throwing the old pigskin around a couple times. And Tom Brady's out at Doco right now for his card shop or whatever, and so he's doing a nice little here's my mistake. I thought it was going to be a little meet and greet situation. I'm not joking. There was probably 600 people. I mean, there was
like a rally.
It was a rally. It really looked like a rally out there in front of Doco right now. So yeah, I'm just coming from that. Mm-hmm. Good times.
And what was it?
No, that's a phenomenal question. Tom Brady went up on a stage in front of the arena and just kind of said, let's go, like 4 or 5 times.
He has it's the Card Vault.
Yes.
He has a series of card shops.
Right.
There's a one that opened in that area.
In Doco,
recently. And so he just is making an
appearance.
Yeah. So he's a part owner.
He said it was the biggest turnout they've had.
Yeah, just like when you go to a concert.
Right.
Man, nobody's popping like Sacramento.
Every time.
You ever heard somebody... this is the first time I've played this song in front of live audience.
I'm nervous. Yeah.
That's what you said 3 months ago.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he did mention, and I had one of those moments. He said, when we started with this Card Vault journey, like one of the first places that I had in mind was Sacramento. Do we? I mean, Whitey, I know you're entrenched in the card industry. Like, is there something I'm missing here about Sacramento being a hidden vault of
gold mine,
card vault? I guess if you will.
With True Sports Cards.
That's right. That's right.
Good luck, Tom.
We're not going anywhere.
Good luck with all that.
That's right.
Tom. Would you be okay? And thank you for wearing a jersey today.
Absolutely.
Not
yes,
everybody
the
wore a jersey.
great Willie Mason. No. Some people, they just think they're.
We had a Michael Jordan one at home.
I forgot. There's a lot going on, man. A lot.
Are you a jersey guy? I know. I could figure Whitey's just
not really.
No, not really.
No.
Jay, you got any Giants jerseys or nothing? I was surprised to see
don't
Jay
ask
there.
him that.
Ask him A's. Whoa, A's. I'm sorry. I do this every time. I literally do this every single time.
No, ask him.
Jay, are you a jersey guy in general?
Yeah, somewhat.
Really? Okay.
I just didn't get the memo.
Yeah.
I had no clue we had Jersey Day.
A couple people heard.
Me neither.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Yeah.
But Giants jersey? No.
Yeah, I know. I do. I literally do it every time. I'm sorry, Jay.
There's probably
no disrespect. No disrespect.
I would. One, maybe two. I'd wear a Willie Mays. That a boy. That a boy. I'd probably wear a stretch too. A McCovey.
Oh yeah. Do you know, Jay? You may know this. Jackie Robinson actually got traded at the end of his career from the Dodgers to the Giants. And he said, nah.
I'm not doing it.
I'm done.
I respect it. I do respect.
I need that jersey.
Yeah, that would be.
I need that jersey. It's somewhere.
Yeah,
it's at the card vault.
I'd imagine that probably. That
Whoa,
that would frustrate.
Whoa. It's the True Sports cards. Hold on.
That's right.
Oh, True Sports cards. That's right. It's somewhere.
Yeah, you'd imagine that'd probably upset Dodger fans, no?
That's what I want.
Yeah. No, I was just trying to figure out, who would be upset in that situation.
Would you be okay if we took a call or two?
I would. Yeah. I was hoping you would, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean,
help
the
us.
phone lines. Yeah, they need to be cleared.
I'm ready.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. I think Joe's been on hold the longest. Hey, Joe, you're on with the Drive Guys. We got Chris here. We got Jay. What's up? What can we do for you?
How's it going? Hey, I just think the Kings situation is about 2 years away from anything really being done because of the contracts, and none of the players are wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two things I want from Scott Perry. He better hit on those draft picks that he so covets, and I don't want to hear another thing about the six pillars until he gets players out of here that don't want to be here.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. I agree about the six pillars. I am a little bit. I understand, and I get it's marketing and messaging, but you're bound to like regret saying it, because it's like, hey, you bring in, let's say, John Morant or something. Like, he says John Morant fixed the six pillars, but like, is John Morant really defensive oriented? Like, yeah, I don't know. It just feels, don't
That's
get
not
your,
one of the pillars.
Just don't. We're not, exactly.
That's
and
what I keep saying.
I can't memorize these pillars either. I mean, there's
professional. You can
Professional.
say any of them.
Thank you.
for
Accountable.
example. Yeah, you can say any of them. for
Responsible,
example.
accountable, professional, tough, team-oriented, and disciplined.
Do you have a
A mnemonic
device? Yes.
Wrapped Todd.
Yeah.
We just lost them.
Works for me.
What are we doing?
Yeah. But to that point, we were talking about this earlier. You watch Memphis, and they're shorthanded, and they're not very good, and they play with a purpose as a team.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't talk about six pillars, but they have something there. There's a way that they play, and the Kings don't have that.
Yeah, I think that's what Scott Perry's looking for, right? Is like identity. Establishing identity was supposed to be one of the things that they accomplished by the end of this year, and I think Memphis is the exact test case of what you would want from that. I mean, and it's not even just this year, right? Like, even with the grit and grind year, like, they had an identity, they knew who they were, they knew what box they were trying to fit in, and I think that there is some value in that. And then how many times throughout the years, I mean, the other game is a perfect example of Memphis has been a team that has been ravaged by injury and just by, I think a couple of years ago they set the NBA record for most lineups that they threw out in a single season. It was something like, over 50 or 60 lineups throughout an 82-game season. And so, and even still found some level of success through that. So I think that whatever that special ingredient is, the Kings need to find some element of it. And there's teams scattered all throughout the league of just, being able to understand who you are.
They've done a couple of things that are scarily OKC-esque. It's Zach Kleiman, right? He's the GM. Zach Kleiman, yeah. Because they, on the one hand, they have made a habit of drafting guys. Jalen Wells a great example. They get him later in the draft, and then they play. It's like, wow, that guy's really good. And then after the Jaren Jackson trade, they have 13 number ones over the next 7 years.
You said OKC. Did you mean Memphis?
Yes.
You said OKC.
Yeah,
okay, sorry. Yeah.
Memphis doing
got
things
you.
like
OKC
fashion.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah,
I thought you meant Sacramento doing things like OKC.
No.
I was like, I would love to hear this, please.
Yeah. Memphis is kind of doing some OKC-esque things.
No, absolutely, right? Yeah, and I think with all the draft picks that they just acquired, seven first-round picks just for Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bane, it really takes the pressure off whatever they eventually get for a John Morant thing. But yeah, I mean, to me, that's the Jakob Poeltl argument during the trade deadline, right? Is that juice worth the squeeze to kind of be in that area of building?
Jeff joining us now on Sactown Sports. Hello, Jeff. What's going on? What can we do for you?
How are you?
Good. It's good to talk with you.
From my standpoint, I understand why things want to call this a rebuild at this point. But to me, they're not there yet. They're just bad. Because this was a team that took its best player a year ago and traded for an old vet. In the summer, they signed a couple more vets. There were people on this station that kind of hoped everything would break right and they'd win 45 games. They have young players. They don't really have anybody that's going to turn into a blue chipper, you would think. They would hope that maybe some of these young guys can be rotation pieces.
Yes.
And they didn't move any of those old contracts. Like, I understand that if they hit the lottery, that's an instant rebuild. But, they're just bad. They might want to rebuild, but they're not even rebuilding yet.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, I think that's a great call from Jeff. And I mentioned this earlier today, the idea of the young guys, and we brought up all the number 24 picks, how Kyle Lowry is the best 24th pick since 2001. But, and I think it was Ty Jerome was the 24th pick, but it was kind of slim pickings, right? And the idea was that none of them were stars, maybe outside of Kyle Lowry for, that time in Toronto. So this whole conversation of play the young guys. I mean, you're talking about a 24th pick, an undrafted guy, and a second-round pick. So to that point, I don't know who's even going to be on the team in a couple of years. I know Dylan Cardwell got a 4-year deal. Shout out to him. That happened about 30 minutes ago. But I have no clue that any of these guys are going to be rotation pieces, let alone stars. I think that's kind of crazy. And, the other thing, when we bring up the culture conversation, the reality is this, fellas. Even if DeMar is only at 28 minutes, even if Levine is only at 22 and he hated all 22 of those minutes, and Russ is at 26, any minute they are on the floor and you're just letting them do whatever the hell they want, those are minutes where your culture is not moving in any type of direction. I'm just going to eliminate Domantas Sabonis because he's a center, but you let those guys just do whatever they want, you're not building anything. And that's my problem with keeping these guys, even if they're not getting in the way, like you said, Whitey. But as far as building a culture, you're letting DeMar, if I got to watch this brother do a pump fake and convince somebody to foul him one more time, I'm going to lose my top, just like Mike Brown said. I don't want to watch that, and it's not building anything. Mm-hmm. It's really not.
He's really good, though.
At doing it, yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah.
The point that Jeff made that stood out to me, Chris, was that they don't have anyone on the roster right now who's the guy. Mm-mm. And we talked about this yesterday. Nick Clifford looks like he could be a good player. Maxime Reynaud looks like he could be a good player. But you still, if you're talking about we're rebuilding, right, at some point you're going to have to find the guy, and maybe you will in the lottery. But that any rebuild, you really haven't accomplished anything until you find somebody that you can say, we think we got our guy, and they're nowhere near that yet.
Yeah, especially here in Sacramento too, right? Like there's not many paths to get a guy, and you either have to try and be the Halliburton recipient and like that kind of trade, a Halliburton for Sabonis type of trade, and SGA again, if you want to use other teams' parallels, like that's obviously one path to getting there. But there's obviously an element of luck in that too. Like for every SGA and Tyrese, like there's Josh Giddey, where it's like okay, like it worked out, but it's not as if he's one of the best point guards in the NBA. I think that's where the draft has to be the priority, and that's kind of where I think. Scott, I don't want to say I won't say this is the reason why it's dropping the ball, but I just think your main focus for getting out of this season, like the only thing, in my opinion, that you can accomplish that's worth anything with the remainder of this season is securing a top pick. And I don't feel like, obviously, the moves at the deadline necessarily help them accomplish that goal. And so it does kind of feel like, well, what are we doing the rest of the season? I think Alan has said it. Like, is the rest of this year just for getting up DeMar and Russ's numbers up the scoring ladder, or is that kind of like what the MO is for fourth quarters?
Some of it may be about seriously seeing what Devin Carter is.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I would love if that's what it's going to be, but I think that's the best hope, is that we do finally get to see. Devin Carter get the length of run that he got the other day, and get to see Nick Clifford with the ball in his hands and all these kind of things. But it just feels like you have to check these boxes of playing these, DeMar and Zach and all these guys have to play 20 or so minutes if they're going to suit up on that night, just because you didn't get them off of the roster. And it's a different conversation, but it is why I kind of felt like during the deadline there would have been some value of forgetting about nitpicking and trying to win every single trade. I think there was value in just kind of, clearing up the dam a little bit, like just kind of getting the process going, because I think at this point it just, even emotionally, and I think it's maybe to Sarah's, well, I guess not to Sarah's point, but I think emotionally a lot of fans are upset because it just feels like there is no like, what is the purpose of showing up? Is the purpose of showing? I think maybe, I guess Sarah might be more okay with watching. I think she put it as a summer league team out there, if that's what the only option is. But I think it's when you're actively making the choice to not play your best play. Domantas Sabonis had 24 points and 15 rebounds in 20 minutes. Like,
it's a tough,
what is the justification for not playing him if he's going to be on your team? Like, and he's suiting up. Like, what? It's just you can't play this game of we're half tanking or hybrid tank, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's just. I don't know. Like, to me, it would have been valuable just to get this process going. And, we can nitpick. You guys on air can nitpick about the specifics of, did they get everything they needed to get? But honestly, the reality of the situation is people in Sacramento need to feel like there's a purpose for watching the Kings. And if I'm being honest with people, like I struggle to find the purpose of tuning in for a majority of the games. Can you pop in and see, hey, where is Neek in the development? Where are these guys at this point in the season? Sure, but like I could not in my right mind tell somebody in my life why you should watch the Kings every single night the rest of this season.
No, and I'm looking here. Sherry's been all over the text line. Sherry says, rebuild on the backs of paying customers, 3 question marks. We go to the game for entertainment, not to watch summer league team, not respectful to paying fans. Rebuild over the summer. And I would imagine Sherry understands the whole idea of tanking, things like that. I'm sure Sherry gets that. But there is an optics conversation, too, where if, you have this player in Domantas Sabonis that you have a certain value on and you didn't want to lose him, it's a tough sell now that you still have him on the team to just sit him. And he maybe played at the very beginning of the fourth, but maybe not at all.
Emmadrock says Domas clearly had lower back soreness last night.
Yeah, and that's fine. But fine. Then those
he looked phenomenal.
And these are some season ticket members, so you've already kind of cashed out. But for those that aren't season ticket members, then those ticket prices better have some back soreness too.
You know what's interesting about that, Alan, Chris, Jay, dear listener. I don't know that the Sacramento Kings have ever gone into an extended rebuild. So there's a lot of Kings fans, even longtime Kings fans, have never had to experience this before. We've seen it in other NBA cities. Mm-hmm. Some of the best teams in the league have gone through the tanking, whatever. The Kings, I don't know that they've ever really done it.
They've never labeled it as Because
yeah.
even with like DeMarcus Cousins, they were still trying to get too competitive. They weren't like, hey, let's agree to stay.
So for some fans, like, wait, what is this?
Yeah, but I think this is also an issue. Well, we don't know what's going to happen over the summer, but this is also kind of an issue that's specific to this season because when you clear it almost feels like, not to go Malcolm X here, but it almost feels like hoodwinked, bamboozled to season ticket fans because the big names are still on your team.
Yeah,
if those big names were removed from your team, then you can go into the 2026, 2027 season knowing I know what I'm signing up for. To Sarah and to Sherry and to the season ticket holders, you still have those players. And you're choosing not to play them.
You're actively watching them just sit on the bench and be like, hey, we're losing this game. Why aren't we putting them in?
And to be fair, as we've said, the Kings kind of got lucky that they have stunk this bad. They weren't supposed to be in a position to get a top pick. Right. So now that they're here, they're saying, hey, well, we're going to react to this. But fans can be within their right to say, this is not what I paid for. Next season, if you move Domas and you move DeRozan and Malik, then fans could say, well, I know what I paid for. And I know you have to okay it or agree to it early on, but I'm sure, you can make certain things work or whatever, but you would more so know what you're getting into. I think fans this season are saying, I got to watch Zach LaVine and Domantas Sabonis on the bench. Even though they were losing anyway, it's just the optics of it.
If we take these two comments on face value as well, do you guys feel like there could be a handshake agreement of, let's just not do this at home?
No.
Oh.
No. If you're going to do it, you got to do it.
Because I think I'm more saying that because these two specific comments are saying we are paying our hard-earned money to show up in Sacramento. Yeah. And, I think the first, who was the first? Sarah was saying, like, I brought friends to try and convince them to be entertained by this team. And I think if there is, again, it's living in a perfect world, it's having your cake and eating it too. But like, can you say like, hey, this is a home game. We want it to be important, as Doug, as many coaches have said in the past, we want it to be important for home court to mean something. At home court, it doesn't matter what the score is. We are trying to win this game. On the road, fans, you guys can tune out, do whatever you want with your, with your day.
Can't do it.
I think that in theory, if we're taking these two specific complaints on face value, that is how you solve that is Home games, we are trying. Road games, all is fair.
I like that.
I know that a lot of season ticket holders would probably say, "Oh yeah, why can't
we can
they
live
do
with
that?"
Yeah.
But whatever it is that you're doing, if you're trying for the play-in or you're tanking or whatever it is, you have to do it all the way.
Does it make it almost too obvious?
You've got
as well,
a lot
right?
of teams right now that are tanking hard, and they're going to tank harder down the stretch. And if you want a shot at the top 3 pick, you can't pick and choose.
You're not even saying from an optics perspective. You're not even saying it becomes more
bad,
obvious.
But it's like there's no way around
Yeah, you're
it.
just saying because factually, if you want to play that game, you have to fully be in there.
But the funniest thing about this is who the hell do we think the Kings are, right? I mean, we're
the worst
here,
team in the NBA at the moment.
and they've been playing their guys. Now, I get it.
It felt like the Detroit game showed them or was it Detroit? The Wizards game showed them, you can just do that.
That's what I'm saying.
And then after that, there's some, AD, BC AD.
That's what I'm saying. So I hear what you're saying, Whitey, and I get it because it's very competitive in the tank world. But we're also pretending
East and West.
Yeah, and I know I've been the number one person saying that this schedule's going to get easier. I get that. But we're acting like this team can win games.
Right. They've been trying to win games.
They've been trying to win games, and that's why we're here. So
you're saying they can try to win games and not win them?
I'm saying they've been trying and they've been losing. So I don't know if it has to be as aggressive. Now, I would hate for the Kings to miss out, and if they lost one more game, very similar to what happened on the Josh Giddey half-court shot with the Bulls. We just saw that. So I get it, but it's just funny to me that we're acting like, hold the horses back.
Okay,
they're going to win all these games.
Last night, if
I was
Domas
say
had
that,
played
right?
more
If he
minutes.
they win that game.
Yeah.
They win that game.
So there you go.
Well,
I mean, we don't know that for a fact, but I agree. That's a reasonable thing to say.
He's pretty easily scoring 40 points.
Well, maybe maybe the push-pull, and it's not a perfect world. We're just trying to figure it out. The push-pull is that Zach LaVine plays. That brother didn't want to be out there anyway. But, I mean, he's getting paid, and he's a name. So Zach and DeMar play, but Domas doesn't play. And maybe Sarah feels a little bit better. I don't know. It was I think it's just
Russ
optics.
and DeMar were out there,
Right.
right?
It was just optics because it was a good game, but Sarah is just upset because I'm watching Domas on the bench.
I understand why she's upset, and I think it's very reasonable.
Yeah.
I just think from the Kings' standpoint, they're going to have to, it's incumbent upon them to impress upon their paying customers. This is what we're doing, and this is why we're doing it. I was hoping, Chris, that if they made a move that was of some significance at the deadline, that would give management a great opportunity to come out tomorrow. And I know Scott Perry is speaking tomorrow, but that would have been a great opportunity to say, look, this is an example of what we're doing. We got this player or these draft picks because this is where we are. And then when you weren't able to do anything, and I understand why they weren't, we're not doing anything. You don't have that opportunity.
Can I read something?
Please.
Okay. Keep in mind, because you know, Chris, because you do a lot of our social, doing a great job. So this was clearly scheduled. The
Is
post
this from
date,
us? Oh.
No, not us.
Okay.
The post time on this today at 12 p.m., which was the end of the trade deadline, right?
It was the trade deadline.
The trade deadline. Sip sustainably. The first 500 fans to buy a brew at the Sierra Nevada Draft House tomorrow at tomorrow's game will get a clean canteen pint glass. Sierra Nevada. Taste what matters. You can't post that at 12. They're getting cooked. They're going to have to turn it off like the A's. You can't do. You got to have somebody in there to say, we can't post that at 12 p.m. You got to push that bad boy to 3.
Agreed. Yeah.
To 3. Someone, the nerve.
Promoting that at 12 o'clock as you do nothing.
Somebody said, read the room.
Fitting. Yeah.
Insane.
Mm-hmm.
Taste what is it? Taste what matters. Taste the trade.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. I know we're getting a lot of calls here. Please be patient. I do want to let you know about a giveaway we have here, and we'll get back to the phones and back to the conversation. We've got the big game coming up, and we have a Super Taco Big Game Party for 10, catered feast of authentic Mexican flavor with all your favorite Super Taco, where every bite celebrates family recipes passed down since when, Alan? Passed down since when? Passed down since how long ago?
Tell me, Whitey.
I wanted you to guess.
20 years?
1991.
There you go.
Yeah. Here's the deal. We've got the code word for you. Listen to us between 2 and 6 for the code word. Enter it on our website for your chance to win. Enter it on our website for your chance to win. And today's code word is super. S-U-P-E-R. Super. So you enter that on our website for your chance to win. Super Taco, big game party for 10. And good luck. We're up against here. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll get back to the phones. A lot of people want to talk to Chris Watkins and Alan, Jay, and me about what is going on with the Kings. Where do the Kings go from here? How do whatever's going on right now, how do you sell this to your fan base? It's a good question, Alan.
Taste the tree.
We roll on. Drive, guys. So stick around, Sactown Sports.
The 10th annual Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame celebration is Thursday, February 5th at the Golden One Center, inducting the class of 2026, plus honoring all of our past inductees. See Sacramento's 50 greatest athletes of all time.
This is Bill Cartwright.
This is Jerry Royster.
This is Tony the Tiger Lopez.
This is Dusty Baker, proud member of the Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame. Join us Thursday, February the 5th at the Golden One Center for Sacramento's best sports night of the year.
Get your tickets now at SacSportsHOF.com.
Joe Fallon did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he commissioned a portrait of himself. Does Joe already know what he looks like? Yes. Do guests know what he looks like? Also yes. But not as art. It's Joe's savings, and if he wants to spend it on a velvet painting of himself with a white tiger at his feet, we say, roar, Joe, roar. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
At InShape, we have a place for every kind of mover. The Sometimer, the early riser, the after-work grinder, the yogi, lifter, bodybuilder, walker, runner, swimmer, spinner, stretcher, rower, climber, jumper, dancer, boxer, sauna seeker, recoverer. Basically, if you walk, lift, stretch, or sweat, you belong at InShape. So whether it's your first time or your first time in a while, start the year strong and join today at InShape.com. Find a location nearest to you.
Heyo, Johnny Mosley here, coming at you with Thursday's Toyota Tahoe report. The Toyota is fired up and ready to roll. Let's tap the experts to see what Palisades has in store for us today.
Thanks, Johnny. Expect mostly sunny skies with a high near 46 degrees and light winds out of the northwest. Evening will dip down to 23 degrees. Dry conditions continue through Friday. This report is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Download the app and listen to The Drive Guys.
The Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles.
On Sactown Sports 1140.
Jay keeping us on the air, and Chris Watkins joining us. And Kings appear to be at a crossroads here in terms of their relationship with fans who are angry today. A lot of fans are angry. We've heard from some fans who've said, understand why they didn't make any deals. Chris, I believe you said you would have done something, even if it would have been maybe not something that brought back fair value for a player?
Yeah, and it might not be the most prudent and opportunistic thing to do, but I think that it would have been valuable to get, and it varies, right? Like, does it have to necessarily be Domantas Sabonis or Zach LaVine to get off the team for it to feel that way? But to me, I'm just surprised that they're going to walk into the locker room, tomorrow, and I just feel like a lot of people all year, like there was the carrot of, hey, like we all might get out of here, like we all, like it's okay. We can come together for 4 months because we know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And now that light at the end of the tunnel has been shut off and everyone now knows like, oh, we're just stuck in this situation and it's not going to change. I don't know. It's just that part does make me a little bit nervous. And so that's why to avoid that, I might have done something just to make it feel different, just to make it feel like, hey, the energy in here, the room, I want to, I don't know. People just act different when there's a couple new faces in the room. And I don't think DeAndre Hunter is a big enough personality or B, a big enough move.
DeAndre Hunter, nice player.
Yeah.
The face of the rebuild, if there is one right now, it's probably Neek or one of the younger guys. But DeAndre Hunter, good player, but he's not going to sell any tickets.
No, not a single one.
He would probably be the first to tell you. Yeah. So
yeah, I think it's pretty tough.
It's a tough sell in that regard.
Yeah, and when we had Chris Biederman on, I believe it was last week, he wasn't terribly worried about what would happen if the trade deadline wasn't a full exodus, and he basically felt like everybody still knows what time it is. I'm not just trying to harp on this one player, but it did not seem like Zach LaVine knew what time it was. And if he did know what time his time was a different time than the rest of the team.
I mean, they probably saw their Twitter accounts, right? And saw like, oh, Zach, like even if Zach LaVine did know what time it was, he probably was like, oh, like, I actually am starting to get my hopes up. Like it felt like a fever dream, but like I think I might actually go to Milwaukee, like I might be able to play with Giannis. I'm sure Sabonis, like really started to feel like, all right, like I think Toronto might seriously be a possibility. And then again, the human element of just like having that ripped away from you, I just feel like there's no way that you can go into the rest of the season and have it. I mean, I don't know how the vibes were. They weren't bad, but it's tough to imagine the vibes the rest of the season will be as good as what it's been.
But the only reason I'm only bringing him up is because I think everybody else is pretty content. You have DeMar who's getting his numbers.
He knows
and
this
he's
is
getting
the
paid.
last year.
Russ, I mean, he can do whatever the heck he wants. I mean, it's great for him. And Domas, he loves the grapes, and he's
But is he going to love that he has to play now? Because he already sat out a ton of games.
I think that he personally, with having the kiddo over the summer, I think that, and I've said this for a while now, I think that once he got injured and the team started stinking, I think that him and his family, this is just my opinion, mentally prepared to be here through this trade deadline, and hopefully during the summer something happens, give them more time, and hopefully either be gone in this summer, because I don't believe they're going to offer him an extension, but be gone this summer. He will be eligible for an extension, and if not this summer, gone by the next trade line. So I don't think Domas is going to be an issue, personally, but I don't know. That's how I feel.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Cameron has been hanging on. Hey, Cameron, you're on the Drive Guys. Thanks for hanging. What's up?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Man, Sarah got me amped. I've been sitting here fighting this rage for however long I've been on hold.
Yep.
I think I like to think I represent the casual fan. I mean, I've been a Kings fan 30 years. I've been a fan of this radio station for 20 plus years. So one, I think it was Chris that said the hybrid tank, which makes sense because some of these guys still have to maintain their value, but the team, obviously wants to lose. Which brings me to another point. It sucks that they have to lose because there's a lot of kids, a lot of families, and a lot of people that have each game circled on a calendar and wait all year to go to that one game, and then they go see crap. And then the last thing, and this is absolutely no shot at you guys whatsoever because I love you all, but this franchise makes for some crappy-ass, redundant, same old radio show. I've been listening to the same show for 20 years.
20 years?
No offense, though, guys.
You know what I mean. I mean, it sucks that you guys got to kind of meander through this mess that the Kings are. And normally, I got my Niners, and then once the Niners go out, you just fall backwards into the Kings, and you keep that hope going. This is the first time in a long time. We haven't been good in a while, but we've had hope for years. And this is the first year where I have genuinely lost hope for this team. And as far as Scott Perry with all the pillars and the culture, every coach, every GM, every team, everybody says that every year. It's just different verbiage. It carries zero weight. Show me something on the court. Show your fans something. Show you care, or come out and eat it and say, hey, we effed up, this guy messed up, whatever the case may be, and get that hope back to us, man, to be honest.
Thank you, Cameron.
Drop the mic, Cameron.
Strong call.
Drop the mic, Cameron.
Well, I love you guys.
Yeah. Hey, I wasn't here 20 years ago. It's different now, Cameron. I know you meant to say that, but it's different now, Cameron. Look, a lot of people feel like this. I mean, Cameron said a lot, so I'm trying to process everything he said. But I think the main thing is where they go from here. And I will try to give Cameron some hope, because he brought up the hybrid tank, the hybrid rebuild.
The hope is hard to see from here. The hope right now is hard to see.
But I would say this, based on the fact that they have not gotten rid of the contracts, based on the fact that they still don't have their pick, right? This should be the worst it gets under Scott Perry. This should be. Because and I'm saying, because at least next season you'll have a pick. Might be 5, might be 1, but this should be rock bottom for whatever Scott Perry's time on the Kings is.
Sure.
So that might not make Cameron feel better now, but you truly can only go up from here.
Right, but I think in some ways it's the worst it's ever been right now in this sense.
Agreed.
Kings fans are going through some things. Sarah, Cameron, I know Cameron said, this is the same old thing, but some of this is new ground. It's like, whoa. I mean, in the past, there have been a lot of Kings teams that haven't been very good, but we go out there and we pull for them. Now we're going out there and we're pulling for them, and they're, as a team, as an organization, they're not even trying to win.
Yes.
Now, that's part of going through this process in the NBA, but for a lot of fans, like I said, I think it's new for some fans around here, and they're having a hard time understanding why they should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had an answer, because I'm right there with him. I think that this year has been one of the most frustrating for Kings fans that I can remember. I mean, I was someone who was going to, you and I were during the break, we're just talking about, maybe cheaper ticket prices. Like, I remember going to Arco Arena and watching DeMarcus Cousins for, $5 and, Tyreek Evans just getting in the building and things like that. And
I remember when they would ask you, how much do we have to give you to get you to come to the game?
Yeah, I mean,
they get like $7 to go to the game.
That's what it felt like, and it just feels like it's for the first time in a long, like even during those times, I think Kings fans that were going to the game still, like you said, like they were, and it was different energy. Team had stayed and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There were still good feelings, and so it was just nice to have them there. If they would have been good, obviously would have been the cherry on top, but that wasn't the main emotion around the team. First time, to your point, in a long time. That's not a question. Like, the team is staying here. They can be terrible for 20 more years. They're going to remain here. The team just sucks, and there's no entertainment value. And again, I think it's the first time where it's just felt like there's not a young person to get excited about and watch. There's not, a clear-cut plan. I think people are even wondering about Doug. Can we even know? It's not as if this is a Sam Presti or a Mark Daigneault situation where he's hired into a certain team that he's going to eventually grow into. Like, I think a lot of people wonder, frankly, when is Doug going to not be the coach anymore? And I think, again, all of it just kind of symbolizes, it feels like we're just really, really boggled down right now.
Yeah.
And at some point, something needs to happen to make this thing post-De'Aaron Fox trade, or you can maybe, again, trace it back to Mike Brown or whatever it is. It just needs to start feeling like these guys are, again, operating like an NBA team. Because for a couple of years there, it really felt like we were in the mix. We were operating normal. We were competent, whatever you want to call it.
I think a lot of fans are still angry about how that ended.
100%. There is no doubt.
That you squandered that opportunity.
And that
all right, now
affects
you're
your
trying something
emotions
different. You got a
into
new
this.
guy.
Right.
All right, what are you going to do?
Right.
Then today, trade deadline, you didn't do anything.
Right.
So people are frustrated. A lot
like
of
a
people.
1 year
because
full circle.
How much more patient do you expect me to be?
And that's where I think, and I told you the first thing I said when I walked in here today is I think the one thing I learned this trade deadline is like we are humans, not robots. Like, we can all acknowledge, hey, OKC model, 3 years suck. You're going to have terrible teams. Just sit there, watch it. I promise you there's a rainbow at the end of that, or there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But having to sit here, we all knew Zach LaVine was going to make this team a perennial playoff team, but in order to sit here, we're a full year into it, and we're all done. We cannot imagine this happening for another year or two. That's the part that I think you just can't get by is the fact that there are real people who are really paying to see this team, and they're just not going to do it anymore if this team is trash and there's other things to do. And Sacramento isn't the tiny town that it was when they were playing out in Atomas. Like, you got a beautiful Doco, you got people over here that, aren't just family people and have their own lives and stuff like that. And so I think it's just for the first time in a very long time feels like the Kings don't have to, people don't have to pay attention to the Kings, and we can just be mad at them and not tune in and not feel like it's, against your civic duty or anything like that.
Yeah, and here's the deal. All the other teams that we've brought up, right, OKC, Houston, the Blazers, they've all had a taste, right, a real taste, real sustained success before they went into the stink. We brought up the Grizzlies. Damn near every team in the NBA has had some run, right? Even the Wizards when they had John Wall doing the Dougie. The difference is the Kings, they haven't had that since 2002.
Yes.
Think about the 2010s, Dame and CJ, and then Dame and whoever else they brought in. The Rockets had James Harden before they went into their stink. OKC had Kevin Durant.
I mean, you can say multiple rebuilds for Yao Ming, Tracy McGrady, and Brandon Roy.
So asking those fans to deal with the 3 to 4 year stink is a lot different than asking the Kings, who had a blip in 2023, and prior to that, it was 02.
Right.
So I think that's why Kings fans, some of them don't have the appetite, but then you get a text like this and they say, you guys are talking like fans don't understand the assignment. Perry understands the assignment, lose more games than anyone else. The Kings have sucked for years because they win just enough to get a crappy draft pick. The only way to secure a top 3 pick is to suck on ice. I'm on board. I'll still go to games because it's fun. And I don't know. I know callers aren't the majority.
Not everyone
You're not
feels
going to
that
have fun.
way.
Yeah, I'm going to say
not having fun.
That's what I'm saying.
Yourself.
You're not going to have fun this season.
And
get a pick. That's what I'm saying. Right. This is the worst, people. Yeah. This is the worst.
Or it better be.
Just get to June, come to the draft party. We'll have drinks. We'll enjoy ourselves, and we'll move towards the future. This is the worst.
And I think
what if the pick sucks?
Yeah,
but at least next season we won't know that.
One thing at a time.
We won't know that next season.
A lot of people are looking at those who've been saying, "Oh, they should tank." People are saying, "Oh, they're getting what they wish for. How do you like it?" And I don't think that's quite true. Even as a tank, I think this isn't what the pro-tanking people quite expected. Right. And that's another thing that makes this awkward. And we'll dive into that when we come back to Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
It's Carmichael Dave wanting you to join Capital Casino every Wednesday for their midweek madness drawing, giving away $2,000 in total cash starting at 6 p.m. in a safe, friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hurry in and save big during Honda's President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Progressive Insurance knows pets, and one of the biggest differences between people and pets is that we don't eat things off the floor. But dogs definitely will, and it makes them so happy, no matter what it looks like, smells like, or what state of decomposition it's in. We all want to go through life that carefree, and that's also why you should get Progressive Pet Insurance, because they eat things off the floor. So protect your pet from all the questionable life decisions they make. You know where they drink from when you're gone, right? Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Top of the hour, John Dickinson's going to join us. He had some very interesting thoughts on why the Jonathan Kuminga from the Warriors to the Kings thing never happened. Chris Watkins, nice enough to join us here. We were just talking about the tank and how some people are having a hard time with it. When you pointed out, Alan, somebody on the text line, and there are people that go, look, this is where it is. I get it. But a lot of fans are angry. And I think even some of the fans that wanted a tank this year are a little disappointed because they assumed that you'd tank with younger guys. You'd trade your veterans, swap them out for young guys who would play hard, weren't good enough to win, and you could get behind some of the young underdog players, and then naturally, eventually you would add players to that, and then you'd be better. And I think the fans that were pro-tanking, I think a lot of them did not expect that you'd have this veteran team with all these older guys that seem to be blocking the playing time for some of the younger guys, and it's just kind of awkward. Like last night when Domas is playing great, and yeah, maybe he did have the bad back, and he's not playing much. For fans, it's like, what is this?
Yeah, it's just about maximizing efficiency. Like, it's just, if you're going to be bad, you might as well try and accomplish something while you're being bad because you're clearly not winning. And so that thing should be development. And so now it's just kicking the can down the line a year for everything. So now it's like next year, Nick Clifford is probably going to get reps that he probably should have been getting for, a month or two now. And so I think that's just the biggest problem, is that it sets everything back so much from you just really not having your ducks in line. And I think, I don't know. Yeah, to me, like that's the biggest problem with this entire season.
All that said, the losing is very important. I'm serious.
Yeah.
It's very important that you continue to lose games.
So I will ask you both this question. Based on what Anthony Slater said on these airwaves about 24 hours ago, and prior to that, he had posted that article. The Kings are not going to approach DeMar DeRozan about a buyout. We do not know whether or not DeMar DeRozan's camp is even interested in a buyout. That was just the Kings saying, hey, we're not going to go to DeMar and ask for that. Do you think that is a mistake? Right? Look, you can't make trades. You can't make trades. I get it. But DeMar has been cooking all season long. Clearly his value has not changed. Even if DeMar, just on principle.
I just think it's something both parties revisit when the season's over. And to me, that specifically, because that was in response to what Mannix said.
But isn't that the dangerous part of this. If you want to make sure that you put yourself in a good position for the tank, number one. And number two, I don't know that fans like Sarah would be happy if they did that, but at least you would know what you're getting. You don't got to watch, and I think DeMar did play in the fourth,
right?
But you don't need to watch DeMar on the bench. Right. You're getting more shots for whoever you want. It's one thing to not be able to make a trade. Now that we're here, the Westbrooks, the DeMars, should fans be okay with the Kings saying, we think this is what you guys want to watch, but we're also going to sit them because we don't want to win games, right? I don't know. To me, it's one thing, it takes two to tango. But you have opportunities, and again, DeMar's camp could say we're not doing it. But even if it just came out to say, hey, we are trying to open this thing up the ways that we can, just hiding behind the fact that you couldn't make a trade, I also think isn't great. And I'm Whitey, I'm not going to go back to the waving Russell Westbrook. I'm done. I'm giving up. But I do wonder, okay, cool. You said you couldn't make a trade. Does that mean you just don't do anything? You just give up? It just feels like they're kind of giving up. But then, hey, we're gonna have Russ. He's gonna be electric. Then we're gonna sit him in the second half, and Sarah and her friends are gonna have to watch an L. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I guess I feel like I don't want to talk out of two sides of my mouth, but I just feel like I don't know what the value for the Kings would be in just straight buying out DeMar. Like, it feels like you just need to get something for, like, he's just too good to just sign off and get nothing for him. And again, I know my fear is I don't want to say, hey, like, the value is just getting this thing going and giving guys opportunity, forget, trying to maximize value and all of that. But I just think DeMar
is a reason to go to the games now.
Yeah, like, he is 100% a reason to go to the games. And I think, like, unlike Zach LaVine, like, and I guess we could, it's not fair to nitpick specific people, but it just feels like DeMar, maybe from a shot attempts perspective, is bad for the rebuild or for the young guys. But DeMar doesn't feel that detrimental, I guess, to me, for the young guys on its surface. Now, again, the shot attempts, I think, is where we can have that conversation being detrimental. But I just think, like, his presence, his and let's also forget watchability. Like, to your earlier point, DeMar is one of that Wizards game where DeMar and LaVine are pretty much keeping the team alive.
Yeah.
I don't know how many games this team can legitimately even be remotely competitive in if they don't have DeMar.
And just real quick, because I do think this is what this is turning into. We're just looking at, for majority of the games, it's going to be DeMar, Westbrook, and three young guys.
I would guess.
And
at least the close.
Is that okay? Is that enough?
You don't really have much of an option.
I know. And
right?
I think the second part of that is, sometimes I watch DeMar, and even yesterday, it did kind of feel like maybe he, maybe I won't pump fake here and get to the free throw line. Maybe I'll let Neek do whatever. It's very slight. So maybe that's just the best that they can do, and it's not worth damaging any, optics. And, hey, the Kings came to DeMar, but DeMar said no, making it messy, just get out of Dodge with clean hands and figure it out in the summer. Maybe you're right, Whitey. Three young guys, and you rock and roll from there.
The sad thing is he's having truly a magnificent season. He's had better seasons.
It's incredible, yeah.
Because he's, Hall of Fame player. He's having a really good season.
I watch him so many times, and I'm just, I hate to say it, but it's just such a disservice that he's on this team, because I truly believe he could help a playoff team, like, in a very serious way. I think he could swing a playoff series if the right team got him. He is still such a good scorer, and it's equal opportunity. Like, he doesn't matter. He plays his game so effortlessly that I think, he could just seamlessly fit into so many. Like, if he were on OKC, a team that already just has so many spoils, like, if they just put him in as a SGA's on the bench, like, it's kind of your turn to be our scoring option, like, I just can't imagine that not working out. So I'm pretty surprised to not see him on it.
Pardon me, Chris.
No,
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. George has been hanging on. Hello, George. What's up?
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for taking my call. I'm really enjoying the conversation here. But I just wanted to say that I am not going to be watching Scott Perry tomorrow. He's going to say a lot of word salads, and he's going to bring with him a lot of butter and Teflon. So I am not going to listen to him, because I'm afraid that I'm going to be more upset than I already am. But there is one common person here that have his fingerprint all over this disastrous team. And the name of that person is the owner, Vivek. And nobody wants to be talking about this one because it's a sensitive subject. I'm willing to talk about it. He's the one that approved with a lot of the disastrous moves. But you guys know that from being so knowledgeable in sports. There are some billionaires that own sports. They cannot help it but to stick their nose into everything of what's going on, including making decisions in who that they're going to trade or who's going to bring back as players. They just can't help it.
You're right, George. Yeah, I'm going to let you go, not because of what you're saying. We're up against it. I think what you're talking about is one of the central issues that Kings fans are concerned with, and that is the owner still involved? You're right. There's anger because what's going on here at the deadline when the Kings aren't able to do anything, it reminds people of, wait, we can't do anything because of some of the bad deals that have previously been made. We have to wait and see whether Scott Perry does have the autonomy that he says he has. But I think you're right. There are a lot of fans who are angry because they feel like we're paying still for the mistakes that were made before Scott Perry even got here. And I know, a lot of people, you mentioned, I'll talk about Vivek. A lot of people are talking about Vivek, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, these are bad deals. And to be completely honest with you, I talked about this in some of the conversation I had at Summer League. We always bring up Zach LaVine, as I did before. There was not a consensus. You ever like American Idol, 2 yeses and a no? There was not a consensus on DeMar DeRozan, bringing him in. So how that all turned out. And these are all contracts that are stuck now.
Right. Hopefully they're beyond that, and Scott Perry is ushering in a new era. We don't know that, and that's another one of the things that I think is frustrating. Some fans thought, well, by now we'd see more evidence of that and the upside of that, and we really haven't. John Dickinson's going to join us when we come back. Are you going to be able to stick around, or are you out of here?
I got to go.
Oh, man.
I appreciate it,
Chris.
Always appreciate it.
You,
Love
Chris.
both of you two. You two are
Thanks,
the best.
Chris.
Yeah. Appreciate both.
Tom Brady's guy.
That's right.
Me and TB12.
John Dickinson with some insight on why Kuminga maybe never had a chance to come here. That's coming up. Sactown Sports.
Live and local.
With everything 49ers.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco! Bob Paul George went up and caught
The
the ball. Touchdown!
49ers play on Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When the game's over, the action's just getting started. Check out what's coming up on the Sactown Sports Live events calendar. On February 15th, R&B legends Jodeci bring the smooth harmonies to Hard Rock Live Sacramento. Then, February 27th, get ready to laugh as comedy greats Dana Carvey and David Spade hit the stage at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. The next night, February 28th, check out Chris Isaac live at Hard Rock Live Sacramento. A night of timeless hits in that signature style. Looking for high-energy action? March 7th, it's Thunder Showdown No. 4 Boxing at Thunder Valley. A fight night atmosphere packed with intensity. Then, on March 15th, rock history rolls into town when Jefferson Starship performs live at Hard Rock Live Sacramento. Concerts, comedy, and fight nights that bring the energy. Find your next big event now on the Sactown Sports Live events calendar.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551.
KHD HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140. Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Well, deadline day has come and gone. The Kings haven't done much, as we know. Their new acquisition made his debut last night. Wasn't great, Alan. Wasn't great.
No.
Got his feet wet a little bit.
I saw some jitters.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I hope I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan Kuminga watch, you've officially put it to bed, right?
For now.
We may have some insight as to why it possibly never really had a chance to happen as far as Jonathan Kuminga coming here. Nice enough to join us, the great John Dickinson, podcast, radio host, KNBR, Warrior Insider. JD, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure. How are you this evening?
What's up, fellas? Good to be with you, as always. I hope you can hear me loud and clear here.
Yes, sir.
Via the technology. I always have to make sure I check, but it's good to be on with you guys. Good to be on in Sacramento every once in a while.
Of course, yeah. John Dickinson from Sacramento. Used to work at this station. Alan, Of course, you and John and I worked at the same station for a while.
Back in the day.
Yeah, that's right. JD, were the Warriors always somewhat reluctant to send Jonathan Kuminga to Sacramento?
Short answer, yes. But I think there's a number of different reasons why. I think when you go back to the summer, there were really two players that interested the Warriors on the Kings roster. And one was Keon Ellis and the other would have been Keegan Murray. And I think even the interest in Keegan Murray was reported that there wasn't even a whole heck of a lot of that. And then obviously once he ended up with the contract extension, that was going to be completely gone. Obviously that happened later than the summer when there was the back and forth on Kuminga between the Warriors and the Kings. But yeah, the Warriors were really only interested. They weren't interested in this Malik Monk and the fake, first round pick, which wasn't really going to convey because it was lottery protected and the Kings were going to be a team that was never not, I think, going to be in the lottery. I didn't think there was a scenario where the Kings were not going to be in the lottery this year. Mm-hmm. I think the Warriors probably would have thought that. So the other thing was, they were never interested in DeRozan. I know that got thrown out a little bit after Jimmy Butler went down with the season-ending ACL. Could he be kind of a stopgap wing type player that could help him get through the remainder of the season and just try to remain competitive? But as far as the Malik Monk, potential trade with the first round pick and the Kings being able to get their hands on Kuminga, the salary for Monk was never something that interested the Warriors. The salary and the length of the contract, that was a bad contract. The basketball fit, shoot first, ball dominant, kind of a guard. The Warriors have a lot of guards. They were looking more for wings than guards, and Ellis at least can compete defensively more as a wing than a guard, although I think you could even make the case he's more of a guard than a wing.
Yes.
So the basketball fit, it was not something, the Warriors also would have had to have included Moses Moody in that deal, or potentially Buddy Hield in that deal, because if you remember, the Warriors could only take the base year compensation rule. The Warriors could only take back half of what Kuminga's salary was going to be. And so if let's just use the $22.5 million Kuminga wound up getting, the Warriors could only take $11 million back. So they would have had to have added another, player to the deal to even take Malik Monk back in return. And the Warriors just were not going to do that. It was never going to be a deal where it was Kuminga and Moody for Malik Monk and this fake first-round pick. And then the other part of it, and I put this out there, and I think this is why Allen had suggested
that,
that maybe you guys wanted to have me on. The Warriors don't have a lot of fans, from what I've heard. A lot of Malik Monk fans in their locker room, and it's twofold. It's basically one. He did stand up on the podium in between Game 6 and Game 7 on that Saturday afternoon, where Steph Curry was imploring Warrior young players who wants to get on the bus and go to Sacramento. But he basically called the Warriors old and busted. Monk did in between Game 6 and Game 7, after the Kings had gone into Chase Center and dominated Game 6 to even the series. And so he basically called the Warriors old and busted and cooked. And then Steph went in there and dropped 50 on him in Game 7 and said, not so fast. The other thing is, it's the Mike Brown situation. Mike Brown has a ton of fans in the Warriors locker room, among the championship core of Warrior players and staff and coaches and the like. And I had heard that Monk would not have been the most welcome player in the Warriors locker room because of the fact that he played a hand in Mike Brown ultimately getting fired, along with obviously Domantas Sabonis and others that have been reported on through time. So I just kind of threw that out there. It was never like they were gone being interested in him in July and August. And this is something I've talked about on a lot of my shows, and just kind of in passing. So I don't think it's really a big thing, but it was one of maybe 5 or 6 things that I've laid out with you why the Warriors were never going to do this Malik Monk deal, where even with the first round pick, because they would have had to have added to the deal to bring him in.
Yeah, JD, just to follow up on that, do you think what Malik's perceived responsibility was in that? Mike Brown has been around for a very long time. So as we were kind of questioning, some of these guys on the Kings, DeMar, Malik, their value and why teams weren't terribly interested, do you think that's something with Malik that could expand past the Warriors, or do you think it was a specific Warriors thing and the rest was just, we just don't like Malik's contract and the type of player he isn't really what a lot of teams are looking for right now?
I don't know beyond the Warriors. And so I wouldn't speculate or report on that. But it could be. Again, I don't know that it is or isn't. I think players develop their own reputations fairly or unfairly around the league. And look, for players that may not be inclined to be welcoming of let's say Malik Monk in their locker room because of reason X, Y, or Z, there may be another 3 players on another team that are like, he was right. I agree with that guy. I've talked for years about the fact that I'll use a Warriors example quickly. I've talked for years about the fact that the way things went down between the Warriors and Kevin Durant over the years that Kevin Durant was with the Warriors, the 3 years, by the end, I think there were a lot of players around the NBA that basically thought that Kevin Durant didn't get the credit that Kevin Durant deserved, and even took more flack than maybe he should have. But I think there's players around the league that agree, and based on the way the Kevin Durant thing went down between the Warriors at the end, I think it has actually hurt, and I've said this on my shows, I think it's actually hurt the Warriors' ability to be able to acquire other star players. And again, a small part, but a part indeed, in addition to, all of the other reasons why the Warriors ended up having kind of a dormant night and morning here over the last 24 hours.
John Dickinson, nice enough to join us, and JD covers he covers the Warriors, but he does cover the Kings at a lot of Kings games. Did the Kings dodge a bullet by not getting Kuminga, JD? In my opinion, they did. What do you think?
I think they did, although as Alan said, who knows? I mean, he could find their way. He could find his way back to Sacramento at some point if things don't work out.
Yeah.
With Atlanta here, I mean, he is somebody that the Hawks are obviously going to get a 2-month test, on whether he fits with them or not, and then they can choose to let him go and become a free agent. They could choose to keep him and trade him. They could choose to keep him and keep him. So as far as Kuminga is concerned, I mean, he's got to play and play well to earn that next year on his contract, first and foremost here in the last 2 months, or at least intrigue Atlanta enough to pick it up. But at that point, depending upon how he plays, I mean, all of those options are still on the table. To answer your question, I do think the Kings dodged a bullet on Kuminga and not getting him. The one thing I will say, though, to that is Kuminga did need to go to a situation where winning was not the most important thing. And if he had been, traded to Sacramento at some point here, even going back to last summer or last night or this morning or however it would have shaken out at some point in between, the Kings, I do think, would have given him the opportunity to just go play and make mistakes. And again, the Kings obviously are not concerned about winning right now, which is, I think, an environment that Kuminga needs to attempt to develop his game. The issue with Golden State, much of it was the fact that he was far more concerned about being a star than he was about trying to be a role player that could fit along with Stephen Curry and eventually Jimmy Butler and in the Steve Kerr system and all that. They did give him more opportunities to be a role player in certain ways than I think, some would believe that they did. And he was just really defiant and or unable, I think, for the first 4 years. I think he tried at the beginning of this year, but through those first, he just was kind of a guy that had his own agenda and believed that he was so talented that, he should be afforded luxuries of just going out there and scoring is kind of the only thing I need to do because I'm a scorer. And if I can score 20 a night and be a 1 or a 2 option in that vein, I don't need to defend or rebound or even be all that efficient. And I think the Kings, to kind of bring it back to them, would have given that runway. He's got a number of fans in their front office, at least one that may be higher on him in BJ Armstrong, to my understanding, higher on him than anybody in the league as far as what his talent could be. That being said, though, I do think, he was looking for kind of a losing environment, in my opinion, to go into and be able to do whatever he wanted and make the situation work for him to where he could get paid. And, as time would have gone on, I think the Kings and I think other organizations probably will find that winning isn't necessarily the most important thing. Again, it wouldn't have been an issue this year, maybe next year, but at some point the Kings are going to want to win again. And I think over that time, they would have found that the best chance to win with Jonathan Kuminga would be the lower he is on the pecking order. And he's somebody that wants to be at the top of a pecking order, be a 1 or a 2 here and be paid as such and be treated as such in terms of the things that are put on his shoulders.
Yeah, JD, we kind of had a memoriam for the Kuminga content.
We did. A little funeral. Yeah, a little service.
That carried us. We had a eulogy that carried us through the summer. So as we are moving forward from that
wait,
now.
Alan, a eulogy? I'll let you finish. A eulogy? I don't know if you know this, but Whitey at one point had a funeral for something, and that didn't go too well. I don't know if he's told that story.
I shared that with Alan yesterday.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say, so he may be coming eventually.
That's right. Right. It might be the comeback, right? People don't want to hear that, JD.
If Pastor Whitey got up and eulogized, then I don't know.
There you go. But as we kind of look back on the summer and, at one point he was going to be here. I think he's going to be here by the weekend, things like that. The one question I had for you as we were texting a lot during this time, as we look at where Kuminga is now and where Keon Ellis is now and the Kings getting back a 28-year-old DeAndre Hunter, at the time there was conversations about Keon being pseudo-blocked from Kuminga conversations. If that wasn't the case, do you think it could have gotten done? Did you hear anything about if Keon was included, maybe this thing would have went in a different direction or no?
I don't think it would have, because I still think it wouldn't have meant that the Warriors would have been willing to take Monk. That I will say, and that would have been just more salary that would have had to have been added to the deal. I still say, and look, I understand why the Kings didn't want to do this even going back to the summer, but I think that the deal that would have gotten done, and again, people in Sacramento are going to be like, JD, this guy's crazy. I don't care if he's from Sacramento originally or not, but the one player and the salary at the time that would have made sense would have been before the extension, when Keegan Murray was basically making right around 11 and had not signed the extension. And if the Warriors had traded Kuminga at a 22-ish rate, then half of 22, I mean, Keegan Murray would have fit exactly into the half of, the base year compensation rule. The numbers would have matched. But again, at that point, if you're Sacramento, I mean, ultimately they signed him to a pretty massive extension. So the Kings were looking to build around him. So that was going to be off the table for the Kings. Yeah. But my understanding is those are the two players. But Ellis doesn't make enough. I mean, that's the other thing. Like if Ellis made more money, I think maybe it would have been something that could have been considered. But I think that is what made this deal so difficult to kind of come to fruition here over the months.
Yeah, John Dickinson with us. I think you're right. I also think there was no way the Kings were going to do that. So this whole thing, I don't think it ever had much of a chance of coming together, despite the fact, Alan, that we chose to believe or were led to believe that, watch out, something could be happening. JD, what do the Warriors try to do with the rest of the season now?
Yeah, it's a great question. A lot of frustrated people 90 miles down the road.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. A very frustrated fan base. And I would imagine there's some frustration today that the Kings basically still have the same roster other than Keon's gone and Hunter is there. And obviously Schroeder, they were able to get off Schroeder, but they bring in Hunter. So a lot of disappointed people in the Bay today. Obviously, though, when you look at the Giannis thing, I mean, the Bucks had to want to play ball for that to have any chance of coming to fruition, and the Bucks ultimately didn't trade him. What's left for the Warriors, I think, is they took a flyer on the belief that they can keep Kristaps Porzingis healthy. I don't think that this was a straight salary dump. Obviously, in the worst case scenario, if Porzingis can't play much or be effective, it becomes that at a minimum. It keeps their books in order for the offseason. I still think the Warriors are going to look to be aggressive in the offseason at looking at different things that they can do to try to add to the roster around Steph. But I just think they looked at everything in the last 2 weeks after Jimmy Butler went down and said, hey, this team can't win a title, which, again, the chances were very slim they were going to be able to win a title anyway. I think if there's one thing they probably are disappointed in hindsight now is that from my understanding, and I think more will come out, I know a little bit did earlier, but from my understanding, the Warriors did have a real shot at Jaren Jackson Jr. Had they been able to maybe focus a little bit more on that and not get lost on the Giannis sweepstakes. And then in the midst of them being focused on Giannis and Milwaukee, all of a sudden Utah pops up, swoops in, beats maybe what had been discussed in a potential Warrior deal with Memphis, and he ends up on the Utah Jazz. But as far as the rest of this season, I think that they're gonna try to see if Porzingis can help them and try to get Steph Curry healthy. He's got this knee thing, and I think just play out the season. I think they're far enough in the play-in tournament at this point where I think they're going to continue to try to rise in the standings as much as they can. I think their ceiling is probably the play-in as far as the regular season. I don't think they've got a shot to get to 6 with the team that they have. And then can they navigate the play-in and win a couple of games and then get into a first-round series where they will ultimately get beat, and then it's kind of back to the drawing board. It's unfortunate. I know there's a lot of frustrated people in the Bay about the lack, the hanging on of picks and assets and young players that haven't developed on the Warriors side of things that led to them maybe not being able to make better offers to teams because teams look at a lot of their young talent, maybe like the league looked at a lot of the Kings veteran talent and said, we don't want any of that. Yeah. It's not real valuable. And so it kind of leaves the Warriors licking their wounds a little bit and unfortunately wasting another year where maybe they could try to get Steph Curry that 5th ring, and it'll have to get punted into the summer, at least on that high end.
Yeah, JD, just one more for you on my end. When it comes to, I guess, the future of the Kings and the Warriors, a couple years ago they had the kind of frenemy type of deal. Mike Brown was the coach. De'Aaron was on the team, signed to Steph Curry. It's not like that anymore, which I honestly think might, the rivalry conversation, we can have that conversation a different day, but it's different now. Do you think that there will be any effect on the chances of future Kings-Warrior deals and them happening, not happening? Could they be just around the fringe? Or is business, and if it's a good deal, they'll do it no matter who it is?
I think if it's a good deal, the teams would be comfortable doing a deal. There is a Vivek-Joe Lacob rivalry that goes back to obviously Vivek being a minority owner with the Warriors before he became the primary owner in Sacramento. Yeah. And so, those two have a little bit of a history there. I do think the Warriors like to make sure that they win trades on paper, which I think is why today is a particularly difficult day for Joe Lacob. I mean, to see what they ultimately got for somebody that he specifically was as high on, and others in the Warriors organization were not as high on when you look at Jonathan Kuminga. And it's not just Steve Kerr, and it's not just Joe Lacob. There are others who had a higher opinion of what Kuminga should have developed into in year 5. There are others, and I think Mike Dunleavy among them, that were, hey, this thing probably should have been dealt with 2 years ago as it relates to moving Kuminga when his value was higher. But no, I don't think – I think the Warriors always do want to want the perception of winning a trade. And I think, part of – and I will say this, I think part of the Kings, and I don't blame them for doing it, but part of the Kings, interest in Kuminga, and yes, it's, BJ Armstrong, who is maybe higher than any executive in the NBA on Kuminga's potential to be a star or a superstar. But I think there's also, the Kings may be thinking, and again, I don't think less of them for trying, but maybe thinking that they could find the Warriors a little desperate and take a prized player away from Joe Lacob and maybe have it turn into something in Sacramento and have that maybe embarrass the Warriors a little bit. And I do think the Warriors were not willing to facilitate that directly. Obviously, it could still happen down the line, but the Warriors were not going to be willing to facilitate that directly unless they were going to get somebody back that they thought could really help them. But so, sure. I think those teams, though, to answer the question, I don't think those teams would have a problem doing future deals at all because of anything that's happened here in the last few months or few years.
Well, rest in peace, Kuminga Watch, and rest in peace, 2 timeline plan. That also now.
Yeah.
How about that?
Wow.
John Dickinson, we will talk again soon. We'll see you out at the arena. Thank you, JD. We appreciate it.
Alrighty. Thanks, guys, for having me on. Appreciate it.
Very welcome.
Thanks, JD.
So that whole thing, Kuminga and the Kings and the Warriors, looks like it never had a very good chance.
Doesn't sound like
happening.
it. Doesn't sound like it. And you know what's interesting, as much as, I do love drama and I do love the TMZ of it all, I don't know, Whitey. It might not hit the same simply because it's not as if Malik went somewhere else, right? So the feeling that the Warriors had was clearly true, but it's not as if they were so upset with what went down, they turned down a deal that other teams are interested in. Malik Monk is still on the Kings, right? So it is juicy. It's probably not as juicy simply because if Malik was that good, right? They turned down, let's put in Jaren Jackson's body. They turned down Jaren Jackson because of how he treated Mike Brown if he was a King. It wasn't that. They didn't turn down somebody they really needed. They were already kind of iffy on Malik. They also didn't like that. And then on top of that, the positional fit, they got a bunch of dudes that are that, Pajemski, Moody, they had Buddy. And they would have had to move, I think, Moody, who, in my opinion, does allow you to play a little bit of 3 where Malik can't do that at all.
Right.
So it makes sense, but that little extra that JD added, it also just spoke to me, Whitey, that people know things in these streets. And sometimes we're on the air, we don't know what we're allowed to say or not allowed to say. And maybe it's because Mike obviously used to coach there, but a lot of people are aware of how things went down in Sacramento.
Yeah, and the feelings.
Yes.
Around the league about how it went down. I'll just say this about Malik Monk. We go back again to Scott Perry when he first met with the media here upon his return and said, well, we never had a real point guard. Well, Malik was a point guard last year. I know you talked to him about this. I've talked to him about playing point guard. Now that Schroeder's out, I know Neek plays a little point guard, but Malik played point guard last night. I thought he looked pretty good.
Yeah. Don't get me started on this. I thought he looked good,
even
too.
Mark Jones, he's always been a pretty good distributor.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. And, you just, all right, Russ is your starter, and then you bring in Malik later.
4 assists last night.
Mm-hmm.
Did have a couple turnovers.
Yeah, there were a lot of players had a lot of assists last night. And I think it's just going to be a rotation because Devin Carter got some time at the point. Neek is going to do some distributing of the basketball as well. Then, of course, you still got Russ. I think the thing is, as we've talked about before, the point guard or primary ball handler of the future isn't on this team. So it's cool to watch. But any of the guys that we talk about outside of Russ, we're just hoping for them to improve as secondary ball handlers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, like you and Chris were saying, how the Kings handled Domas's minutes going forward here. Yeah. And, balance that with playing your younger guys because clearly I think last night we finally saw it. We're really starting to see the younger guys play more, which is what they should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think, it doesn't help season ticket holders, but those that are not season ticket holders, I do believe that prices will reflect it. You call in, let us know if they don't.
Mm-hmm. So the Kings with the Clips tomorrow, and then James Harden apparently getting ready to make his Cleveland Cavaliers debut.
Yeah, I think it's
Keon Ellis's return to Sacramento.
I'm intrigued. Keon, he keeps talking about, man, I've never seen winning basketball like this before. This is the happiest I've ever seen Keon. I follow him on social media. And, he's reposted everything. The Cavs got the win. I know he hit at least 1 3. It was from Dennis. Dennis assisted in a Keon 3.
He had just a really solid Keon box score.
Yeah.
And Schroeder didn't shoot the ball very well, but he definitely contributed.
Yeah. So, you know what, man? They're out here living their best life.
Mm-hmm.
And they got out. You remember? I don't know if you've ever seen it, Whitey, but the SpongeBob meme where Squidward is stuck, he's in his house looking out the window, and it's Patrick and SpongeBob, and they're skipping and having a good time. I feel like Squidward, that's exactly the rest of the Kings that thought they were going to be freed, and then 12 o'clock hit. And Whitey, I don't know about you, but I'm sitting, and you get stuck doing something. You're waiting for 12 o'clock to come. Then you get stuck doing something, you look back, it's 11:55.
I'm not the only one that called this, but I called this because last year, ESPN, NBA Today, trade deadline, their big story, as soon as the deadline came and went, last year was Kevin Durant ain't going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And we talked to, Keith Smith about this. Sure enough, today, 12 o'clock comes and goes. What's the big story? Giannis is not going anywhere.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. And
I knew it.
I don't know. I felt like there was so much movement this go round, but it still felt like Giannis did have some teams in a chokehold. KD did too, but I don't know. Maybe the Giannis thing, the KD thing is different because you just know it's going to come up about every other year.
Yeah, when we come back, we'll take another peek at the Super Bowl, where Shanahan's 49ers, two of the best teams ever to lose a Super Bowl. Let's see where they rank when we come back. Wrap things up. Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Rain on game day doesn't faze Dave. He's already got his poncho. Just needs to do something about those wipers. So Dave heads to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where a friendly AutoZoner helps him get premium quiet wipers and some hand warmers.
You're all set.
Now, if only his team can handle the elements as well as his new wipers. Get wipers, glass cleaner, and more with no hassles, just help at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Big tax changes this year could mean a bigger refund, and Jackson Hewitt knows how to get you your biggest. You'll get $100 just to try us. That won't make you filthy rich, but definitely gas plus groceries rich. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back, which would make you low-key loaded. Or at least wealthy adjacent? Go with our trusted pros and get $100 to switch. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Valentine's Day is coming, and here at Madison Avenue Florist, we have all the favorites. Over 60 variety of roses alone. We've been on the corner of College Oak and Madison for 40 years. Voted Best of Sacramento. Come on in, we'll show you why. Order now and mention this ad and get 10% off any order over $80. Order early for the best selection and delivery options. Madison Avenue Florist, for when the moments matter. MadisonAvenueFlorist.net.
Download the app and listen to The Drive Guys.
The Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles.
On Sactown Sports 1140.
We have a slightly truncated show. We have UC Davis basketball coming up.
What they got tonight?
Who's UC Davis playing tonight? I'm stalling, so hopefully someone in the control room rams.
I got you right here.
Santa Barbara, the
Gauchos.
Gauchos.
Shout out to Gauchos. All right.
Isn't that where Katie went?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She was a Gaucho.
Gaucho.
Uh-huh.
Good stuff.
Yeah, with
the Gauchos are 15-7.
They're horrible.
They
stink.
Aggies are 13-9.
There you go.
Go get them. At UC Davis. Go get them.
I know it kind of hurts for some 49er fans to have the 49ers watching Seattle play in the Super Bowl and they're at Levi Stadium. So I've been looking at different 49er angles to this Super Bowl. And I saw this list yesterday. SI.com had a ranking of the Super Bowl losers. The best Super Bowl loser to all the way to 59. And I was just wondering if any 49er teams would show up on this list. Off the top of your head, how good do you think those – we'll start with Shanahan's 2 teams that lost to the Chiefs. Those are pretty good teams.
Yeah, I'm thinking the more recent one because they had Brock and not Jimmy.
Yeah, they lost in overtime.
Yeah.
Now, they lost. I know.
Right.
You know, Raider fanning and say, hey, they lost. I know. I get it. Yeah, but this is the list here. See how far we have to go before we come to a 49er team. According to Sports Illustrated, they have number 1, the best team to lose a Super Bowl, the 2007 Patriots, who, of course, were 16-0. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Number 2, going way back, the 1968 Baltimore Colts.
There you go.
Johnny U.
Johnny Lou.
They lost Super Bowl III to Broadway Joe and the Jets. They were 13-1. They were huge favorites.
Well, hold on. You hear that, Kyle? The Jets, when they won a Super Bowl.
Wow. That's a callback.
When they won the Super Bowl.
Third best team to lose a Super Bowl. They might tell you, well, we got robbed. 2001 St. Louis Rams.
Okay.
Who were 14-2. Number 4, again, going way back, 1969 Minnesota Vikings, 12-2. As you know, Alan, they lost to the Chiefs.
That's
Number
right.
5 is the Dolphins team in 84 that lost to the 49ers at Stanford Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 is the 1978 Dallas Cowboys that lost to the Steelers. Number 7, the 2013 Denver Broncos. That's the team that just got annihilated by Seattle.
Yeah, they got smacked.
Yeah. Number 8, 1983 Washington. Number 9, here we are, the 2023 San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco has teetered on the brink of its 6th championship for years. In 2023, the Niners were a strong bet to finally capture that elusive ring behind that loaded roster. 10 players who were either Pro Bowlers or All-Pros. At season's end, San Francisco was 3rd in points for and against, earning the NFC's top seed. So that's 9th on this list. And I think the other Kyle Shanahan 49er team, 13th on this list, the list of the best teams that lost the Super Bowl, the 2019 49ers that also lost to the Chiefs. They were 13-3. I don't know if that's good or if that's an indictment of Kyle Shanahan's coaching.
I was going to say, do you want to be on? Well, obviously you'd rather
twice.
be a winner, but
yeah.
But yeah, do you want to be on this list?
Mm-hmm. Those are some good teams.
Because, for example, if the Patriots lose on Sunday, they're not going to be anywhere. Hey, I don't know. If they lose on Sunday, they will not be on this list, right? Which means
they won't be high on it.
The way it kind of flips is, well, Vrabel did a good job to even get them to the Super Bowl, because you're either stacked or, it's an underdog story. And if you're an underdog story, then more people have more wiggle room for you.
Mm-hmm.
The Niners, good coach, obviously, and Shanahan, they're also stacked, especially that more recent year in 2023.
Yeah, you lose a close game. It could go either way. You lose 2 close games in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something you're not doing right. 27th on the list, the Raiders, 2002 Raiders.
Yeah, well, they got the stimulus package from John Gruden. That's what it was. The opposite of it. He knew all the plays.
Are you buying that Tim Brown conspiracy theory?
Which one?
Tim Brown says that Callahan basically gave this,
that's what I'm saying.
Sabotage the Raiders.
That's what I'm saying. It's right there for you.
Let's see here. I'm looking for another one of the 49er teams because I thought they had one of the Harbaugh teams. I know they're on here somewhere, but I guess they're not very high on the list. 35th, 2012 49ers.
Okay.
11-4-1.
Man,
that was the team that lost to the Ravens. I think that's a better team.
This got to be rough for Niners fans. You're all over this list.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad. How many times the Bills on this list?
Well, they'd be on there, 4 times?
If at all.
Yeah.
Right?
Because they rank every
all
team.
Of them.
All the way
I see.
Best to worst. I thought this was interesting. Is this a thing? Jay, is this a thing? The 49ers are the only team in history to have 5 different starting quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. Other teams have been to more Super Bowls, but they haven't had 5 different starting quarterbacks. Is that a thing?
I don't know what to do with it, but it sounds like a team. It sounds like a good organization, I think is what I would say, because, the Chiefs, for example, they're riding what Patrick Mahomes is giving them. We'll go back and look back at what the Warriors have done when Steph is gone. I don't know how often they'll be in NBA Finals, but the Niners, to get there with different QBs means you're doing something. And I would assume the Eagles are a little bit different, but to get, obviously they won with Nick once our guy went down, and then they win with Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I mean, obviously they won, so it's a little bit different. Shout out Draper. But yeah, getting there with different QBs, I think, is a sign of a good organization.
It might explain why they have lost some of these games.
Yeah.
Some of these teams that have won multiple Super Bowls, Tom Brady. But the 49ers had Joe Montana, one. And, of course, Steve Young. And then you also had Brock.
Right.
And you had Colin Kaepernick. And you had Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe that's why you didn't win some of those Super Bowls.
Yes. And I was thinking, of course, Carson Wentz goes down and Nick Foles comes through.
No, I knew you meant our guy.
Our guy. Carson, our guy. He's somewhere playing somewhere. But, yeah, I think it's a sign of a good org. It's probably another sign of a reason, like you said, why they haven't lost it, because chances are you're going up against, history tells us you're going up against a guy that is probably a historic figure in the NFL and a future Hall of Famer, because that's how these things shake out a lot. You look at Joe Burrow getting there with the Bengals, had to do battle with the Hall of Famer in Matthew Stafford and couldn't get it done. So I guess when you look at all of the Super Bowl matchups, my guess is majority of the time there's at least one Hall of Fame QB to fringe Hall of Fame QB. I would assume that percentage is pretty high. So if you don't have one of those guys, then it's harder to win. It's harder to win the football game, especially a big game like that.
What do you think of Tom Brady saying, "Hey, you pulling for the Patriots in the Super Bowl? I don't have a dog in the fight." And some of his former Patriot teammates, Asante Samuel, Vince Wilfork, even Gronk, they're like, "What?" He says, "Yeah, I don't really have a dog in the fight."
That's how
Asante
he
Samuel,
is.
Tom Brady, I'm highly disappointed in you not rooting for your ex-teammate, Mike Vrabel, who's about to do something special. I can't even read the rest of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of Tom. He's eating green tea, ice cream somewhere. Look, I don't know. I don't know what's better or worse. Tom going in that direction, or Richard Sherman, who changes his hats based on who's winning. Richard Sherman there are kids out there during this stretch have no clue Richard Sherman was on the Seahawks, let alone won a Super Bowl. But now he's back, baby. I saw him with a Seahawks hat on just a couple days ago. He gets called out all the time. There's some weird stuff with Russell Wilson and how close was that team really.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I'd prefer Tom to Richard Sherman. One day he's wearing a Niners hat, right? The other day, and I know they went to a Super Bowl, but they didn't win it. But
right.
the next day he's wearing Seahawks hat. He's part of the 12 again. Give me a break, man.
Well, I think Gronk may have the right of it as far as Tom Brady is concerned. I don't have a dog in the fight. I think it was Gronk who said basically, well, that's because Tom wishes he was quarterbacking again.
Right now?
He doesn't want somebody else to win a Super Bowl as the quarterback of the Patriots.
That's probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah. As much as he's been running around talking, and obviously he was out today, but he's always telling people about his process, and he's one of the best, so I get it. He still wants to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
He don't want to be talking about it.
He may know, I can't play anymore, but I don't want to watch someone else do it for the Patriots.
It would be
winning Super Bowls for the Patriots. That's my thing.
But it would be one thing, and this is how these hyper-competitive people are, but it would be one thing if he never won one. Right? Maybe he felt a little bit salty when that happened. Like, I don't know, Donovan McNabb or somebody like that. He sees Jalen Hurts. I'm sure he's happy for him. But, man, I was supposed to be the guy to do that for Philly. But, Tom, you won a ton. What is the problem?
But that's one of the things that differentiates, like, really rich people or really successful athletes. They don't settle like normal people. They don't say, oh, that's pretty good. They're like, more.
It's not an option.
Yeah.
Yeah. But shout out, Tom.
Yeah. Richard Sherman, the way he was embraced by 49er fans, I didn't think there was any way that would ever happen. And that tells me that any athlete, and maybe a politician, anybody in any walk of life, you can be reviled by one side, but there's always a possibility of winning them over. If Richard Sherman could become as embraced by 49er fans as he was, anything could happen. Because I remember thought, there's no way 49er fans will ever accept him.
Yeah.
And they did.
Right. Because even the whole thing going back to, we were kind of in the way back mobile with JD going back to Beam Team, and when the Kings and the Warriors had more connections in the coaching staff and on the roster. Let's say for some reason the third team in the Giannis deal was the Kings, and the Kings were getting Draymond. I still don't think it's the same, even though we had the whole Sabonis situation, because I know NBA has divisions, but it's not the same as the NFL and the history. I think a lot of Kings fans wouldn't want Draymond on the squad, but I think it would be easier. Tell me if I'm wrong. Easier than what Richard Sherman pulled off. Now, everything's all good in the hood when you're successful, but just the difference between the history that Niners Seahawks.
That might be the one that wouldn't happen. You might have found the exception.
Found the one
to my rule.
Yeah,
but if he came here and he helped them win. I don't even like talking about it, by the way. And especially if, Domas was like, oh, he's a competitor.
Yeah.
And we play hard together.
Squashed it.
Yeah. I guess it could happen.
If you won. But if you're losing, then, hey, now things are not in a good place.
Is tomorrow really Friday already?
It is. It's time.
Okay. So tomorrow will be our Super Bowl spectacular preview.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my goodness. And we got to do all the radio shticks. What's your favorite food?
Nope.
Come on.
Nope.
What's your favorite food?
Nope.
Come on, Whitey.
Nope.
Come on. When Thanksgiving comes around, are we going to be able to do one of those shows? Favorite meal? We got to do the
I would
radio
answer,
shticks.
but we got to go to UC Davis basketball coming up on Sactown Sports. The answer is no.
Download the Sactown Sports app.
Sacramento sports in your pocket. This is Sactown Sports 1140.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free.